Alice loves the scent of Gain so much, she wished there was a way to make it last longer. Say hello to your fairy godmother, Alice, and long-lasting Gain scent beads, part of the irresistible scent collection from Gain.
Oh, just one.
Jake from State Farm, it's the least I can do. You really did me a solid with that, Maya markdown on my insurance.
Here's the deal, Maya. State Farm offers everyone surprisingly great rates.
Right.
No, really, there are no markdowns, just great rates.
Pull her home back in 20 minutes. I'll hook you up with the good parts.
When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
We've never been so ready to get back out there. And with Copper Tone Sport, we can reclaim the boulders, the backwoods, and the breakers. Copper Tone Sport. Find your sun.
Mom's gonna kill us.
Gorilla Super Glues. Of course.
Gorilla has a fix for every project. Original brush and nozzle and ultra control gel for the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
We're changing our look. We're changing to make a difference for a more inclusive future. But one thing we're keeping the same is our great rice. We're Ben's Original.
No matter where we live, we all have our local spot with our favorite table. Go back to your local restaurant and Stella Artois will help cover your first chalice. Visit stellaartois.com/firstchaliceback to learn more.
Doesn't that have a tropical feel to it? The signpost fluttering in the wind there. Elsa made landfall in the U.S. as a strong tropical storm. Official landfall at Steinhatchee, Florida. That's near Cedar Key in the Big Bend area. And gosh, look at that. Waves of rain just sweeping across the street there. Winds topping out at 65 miles per hour at the time. Just a little bit shy of hurricane status as expected to be in that strong tropical storm range. The storm, though, is far from over. Right now, Elsa continues to pound parts of the southeast with strong winds and heavy rain. We're watching for possible tornadoes in Florida, and then in Georgia, and then eventually the Carolinas. And from there, Elsa is expected to march up the east coast, bringing tropical storm conditions through the northeast, including just outside of D.C., maybe New York, into the Boston area and the Cape. The very heavy rain and wind in your forecast. Let's start out with what's happening right now. Here are the latest stats on Elsa. 8 o'clock advisory from the National Hurricane Center. We're about an hour away from the next update coming in from them. 45 mile per hour winds, movement still north-northeast at 14. That location at the time was 75 miles due west of Brunswick. But at that same time, we had flood warnings in Brunswick, 75 miles away from the center. And that's because that east loaded storm continues. Very heavy rain with thunderstorms in Savannah now and headed directly towards Hilton Head with all kinds of lightning. So we're going to start with that because that is one of the big factors. Thanks for staying with us as our live continuing coverage of Elsa is ongoing right now. I'm meteorologist Mark Elliott along with storm specialist Carl Parker. And Carl, this storm's got a ways to go. It's going to go all the way up the coastline over the next couple of days. But kind of first and foremost is that thunderstorm complex coming towards the Hilton Head area.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty rough night in Savannah as well as into Charleston overnight tonight. And we expect that there's going to be a heavy rain threat, a tornado threat, also gusty wind along the coast. Right now, 45 mile per hour tropical storm moving north-northeast at 14 miles per hour. And there you see the forecast track and intensity. So basically expected to be a low-grade tropical storm going forward. But that is still going to mean plenty of impacts here, including, as Mark mentioned, that very heavy rain, which is now coming up into areas of Georgia and South Carolina. You see the big band here that is now driving into Savannah. We could be looking at some rainfall rates of 1 to 2 inches per hour. In fact, on Sapelo Island, which is to the south, we've got a report of a 3-inch per hour rainfall rate. So it is really coming down in some of these storms, and a lot of lightning here as well. That is just about ready to come up into Hilton Head Island. The heavier rain and the lightning going to be moving in short order. And also, we have been noticing some little areas of spin. There's one right in there, and so that's not surprising. There's a lot of low-level wind shear right now, and there is an ongoing tornado threat. tornado watch for parts of Georgia and South Carolina, and that is going until 5 o'clock in the morning. So just have a way to be notified when you go to bed tonight, whether it's your phone or whatever it is. Have a way to be awakened if we do, in fact, get a tornado warning. That's going to continue into tomorrow, that tornado threat along the 95 corridor and in eastern parts of North and South Carolina. So here's the model forecast showing you that big area of very heavy rain coming up between Savannah and Charleston overnight tonight. So Beaufort and Hunting Island there, getting up into Edisto and then eventually towards Charleston as well. A lot of heavy rain between, say, 2 and 4 o'clock in the morning in Charleston, also in Columbia and back into Augusta. Then tomorrow morning, that comes up into Myrtle Beach, into Cape Fear, into Wilmington, the Triangle there, Fayetteville. All those areas just getting walloped by heavy rain and strong wind, and that will then move over towards the Sounds, the Outer Banks, getting into the afternoon. Still a lot of wet weather in Raleigh. See, it takes a long time to move out. It's going to be around for most of the day tomorrow, and so along with that, we are going to see a flash flood threat, and then everything does really clear out as we go into the afternoon. So there you see the flash flood threat. Flash flooding is likely in eastern parts of Georgia and also in South Carolina. Winds now gusting to 40 miles per hour in Savannah, and that is going to be moving up and along the coast, especially in that big band of rain mark. That's where some of the strongest wind is going to be found, and possibly some tornado-producing storms as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we continue to follow that chance for more severe weather, because that is a very common occurrence with these landfalling tropical systems. Carl, I know you this caught your eye earlier. This is just an unbelievable tornado in size for a tropical system. This is the one that came through near the Jacksonville area earlier today.
Yeah, you know, this video really illustrates what is so dangerous about these, landfalling tropical systems that produce tornadoes, because first of all, there's a lot of tree cover in the southeast. Second of all, the bases are very, very low. Third of all, there's a lot of moisture in the atmosphere and a lot of rain. So all of those things serve to not give you really good visibility. You can kind of make out the shape of a tornado there, but you can see how the untrained eye might mistake that for something else, maybe just some part of a thunderstorm. And so it just makes it doubly dangerous to see that, coming through there.
In this case, there was actually good visibility, and here's another view of that same storm from the technology. The Doppler radar saw that couplet, actually saw the debris. Sometimes tropical-induced tornadoes actually don't produce a very well-formed couplet. It's even difficult for the technology to see. In this case, it was a little bit more well-formed, as you see here. That was a big-time storm coming through the Jacksonville area, specifically on the south side. And one of those possible tornadoes being blamed for the first Elsa-related death in the United States. The strong winds knocked down a tree in Jacksonville this afternoon that fell on 2 cars, killing 1 person. Meteorologist Tevin Wooten is in Jacksonville with more on the damage there.
Light rain is falling right now. This is a marked difference from where we were earlier in the day as Tropical Storm Elsa came through. I'm meteorologist Tevin Wooten in Duval County. Downtown Jacksonville right behind me. So far, this area has seen between 2 and 3 inches of rainfall. A lot of that fell in a short amount of time, which led to some flash flooding, water covering roadways and several streets throughout Duval County. What else did we see from Tropical Storm Elsa? Winds between 40 and 50 miles per hour. That was enough to bring down about 2 to 3 dozen live oaks in Sewanee County. And then we saw 2 squalls. The first squall that came through contained damaging winds. Unfortunately, that was enough to bring down a tree on top of 2 cars, which led to an accident. 1 person died as a result of that accident. And then the second squall that came through shortly after, right around 5 o'clock, that produced a tornado warning storm, which carried for several counties from Fruit Cove into Duval County and points towards the north and east. 2 that also produced damage as well. We're talking about trees down, siding down, roadways closed as a result of that. And yes, the fire and rescue department here in Jacksonville still letting residents know that some of those roads are still closed. It'll be a while before they're able to get out because of the deteriorating conditions that we still see. We've got to wait for Elsa to pull out before rescue crews and also first responders can go in and clear out the debris. That's the latest here from Jacksonville. I'm meteorologist Tevin Wooten. Let's send it back to you.
Thank you, Tevin. And we have some new video now of some of the damage from that suspected tornado in the St. Mary's area of Georgia. That's in the southeast part of the state, near the coast. Same general complex as the one that came through the Jacksonville area, and you can see a lot of tree damage here, trees strewn across cars there. Gosh, that is a mobile home that looks like it was picked up and rolled. So mobile homes are never safe when any sort of wind comes their way, straight line wind or otherwise. That'll actually maybe part of a vehicle that got rolled up too. So again, the mobile or modular home there, and then maybe a car that then got rolled up on. Gosh, lots to follow for sure. Here's another view of some of that. We've seen some of that siding getting ripped off, even the more well-constructed, more permanent featured structures, if you will. Now, tornado watch continues right now and through the night to about 5 a.m. from the Townsend area to Savannah, Hilton Head, Edisto to Charleston. Charleston much later down the road. But look at this. We've got this, classic formation where the inflow air at the surface is coming this way, bending back towards our area of low pressure. Remember, the low is still back here. But if you go up in elevation by about a mile up or so, 5,000 feet up, and suddenly those winds are coming this way. That is a very different wind direction with height, and we're starting to see some signs that that could translate into tornadoes. It's why this is the red zone for you tonight. Savannah to Charleston, a possibility of tornadoes. That's a 3 out of 10 on the Torcon. Not widespread tornado activity, but certainly a handful are possible when you see a number like that. We know what happened already. We've been talking about the tornado reports from back here, as well as the Jacksonville area, and then the southeast side of Georgia. Those are the 3 tornado reports that we've been telling you about throughout the late afternoon, early evening. Look at this band, though. This is crazy, the amount of rain that we have within here. Let me turn on the lightning for you just for a second, because if I leave it on, you at times can't even, see what's going on. It looks like we have a bit of a change. I only have the immediate current lightning as opposed to what's happened over the past hour or so. But in any case, that is real-time lightning coming in, strike after strike after strike. Impressive enough that just in the time that I was talking to you, we've got 7 or 8 strikes. It's a highly electrified storm. Then within there, right on the edge, you see how we have these bright greens that translate to a little bit less bright? That can sometimes be that classic appearance of a tropical tornado. Short-lived, hard to see by the radar, but sometimes you can get spin-up tornadoes in those little intersections where there's just enough of a wind shift. You don't need much with these bands coming through. That complex is going to be going through Savannah right now and eventually towards Hilton Head and should then continue right up the coastline. So by, say, 4 or 5 a.m., Charleston, that's the mess that's headed towards you. Let's time that out for you a little bit, more exactly, so that you know exactly what to expect through the rest of the night. There goes our storm rotating away. Remember, the low is up here near Augusta, heading towards Columbia, and I think there will be at least a core of tropical rains near that low pressure center. But some of the worst of the weather will be right along the coastline as we go through the overnight into tomorrow morning. Wilmington, you get in on the mix. By the time we get to, say, 8, 9 a.m., it'll continue to be raining for you until early afternoon, and then it eases up a bit. So much moisture left behind that we may see a secondary round of pop-up storms coming in late afternoon to evening tomorrow through the southeast, which is important. If there is any cleanup, you got to watch those storms. If it's a weakened structure compared to where it was before all this mess, then even a garden variety thunderstorm becomes a much bigger deal. So, Carl, up the coast, we're watching officials starting to get ready.
Yeah, emergency officials have been preparing for Elsa. You were looking at live pictures from South Carolina, Charleston, South Carolina. It is going to get really stormy overnight tonight. The heaviest of rain probably coming in somewhere around 2 o'clock in the morning, 2 to 3 to 4 o'clock in the morning. Very heavy rain, very gusty wind. We can't rule out a tornado warning in the region as that is coming through. Now, let's advance the story beyond that and show you where the storm is going to be going. And so we're expecting to see it continuing up into the northeast, but a very heavy rain threat for a lot of the southeast in the meantime. So we're looking at a rain on the order of about 2 to 3 inches on the high end in some spots, talking about South Carolina here, as well as into North Carolina. It's going to be lingering for quite a while there in North Carolina, but especially in coastal areas tonight is where you've got the greatest rainfall threat, anywhere from eastern parts of Georgia into eastern South Carolina. Carolina. Looking at the model forecast, again, that heaviest of rain is going to come up and into Charleston, 2 o'clock in the morning most likely, then moving up over towards Myrtle Beach into 4 o'clock in the morning, and continuing on into Wilmington into the early morning hours, about 8 to 9 o'clock in the morning. And Raleigh, man, it is going to be raining probably for most of the day tomorrow in Raleigh, just because the center of the storm is going to be coming through. So it's starting in the morning, it's continuing into the early afternoon, it's continuing through the afternoon, finally winding down perhaps around the dinner hour. So certainly could be some flash flood warnings there in the Triangle along with this storm. Mark?
There and many other places, because the Northeast is also concerned about Elsa's path. We have some very densely populated cities, of course, along I-95, the D.C., Philly, New York corridor, and then on to Boston as well. Looking at D.C. and New York live for you tonight. A lot of people here could be affected by flooding or maybe even power outages, partially because of the rain from Elsa, which is no slouch, but also partially because of the repeated, summertime thunderstorms that we've been dealing with for the past couple of nights. That includes tonight, severe thunderstorms in New York State, in Pennsylvania, and we'll show you those as the show rolls on. But let's track just the core from Elsa, making its way, again, it's in Georgia now, but all the way up the New England coastline. That includes entering, say, South Jersey sometime early Friday, the Boston area by Friday afternoon, and exiting as we officially start off our weekend into the Canadian Maritimes and Southeast Canada. But it'll be just enough, just close enough, I should say, to the coast to still be tapping into that tropical moisture feed. I think there's going to be a pretty good conveyor belt of moisture coming up and pointed right towards some of those big cities of I-95. And there will be some help from the upper level winds and a bit of a front approaching and an upper level feature approaching from the west. That will help speed it up, but it could also be responsible for some more storminess both ahead of and behind Elsa moving through. So the wind threat, the tree damage threat, power line threat, flooding threat, those are all kind of stacked together because of the days of rain on either side of Elsa's rain. So let's take a look at that. Here's Atlantic City for your Thursday. A little bit of rain shower activity at times. We start getting some pop-up thunderstorms Thursday evening. And then overnight leading into Friday, then the steadier rain starts coming through. That is officially Elsa's rain by that point. You start seeing the more prolific rounds of rain when you look at the New York City area. Upstate New York sees a round come through overnight tonight, then again for Thursday afternoon to early evening. Then the meat from Elsa comes through as we work our way through Friday morning. Terrible morning commute in New York. Should be better by your evening commute of Friday. We want you to stay with the Weather Channel for continuing coverage as we track Elsa, live reports and expert analysis you won't get anywhere else as we continue to follow the storm up the coastline.
Return to rugged. The all-new, ruggedly redesigned 2022 Nissan Pathfinder.
I'm David Collado, president and co-owner of Happy Howie's Dog Treats. We make all-natural dog treats, and we're growing really fast. So fast, we were maxing out production. That's why I chose the Spark Cash Card from Capital One, because I earn unlimited 2% cash back on everything I buy. Last year, I redeemed $21,000 in cash back. Seriously, $21,000, which I use for new equipment so we can feed even more dogs. Thanks to my Spark Card, we're in over 4,000 stores across the country. What's in your wallet?
Hi, Verizon launched the first 5G network, and now we want to be the first to give everyone the joy of 5G by giving every customer a new 5G phone on us. Old customers, new customers, families, businesses, in-laws, law firms. Every customer, new 5G phones when you trade in your old ones. And if you're not a customer, we'll help cover the cost to switch. Just ask Wanda. She's been with us since now. Upgrade your phone, upgrade your network.
Experience Makita's cordless outdoor power equipment. The mower cuts non-stop for up to 2 miles. Get unstoppable power without the hassles of gas. Now, get 2 extra free batteries.
bit of smile.
Well, 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 look at you. You mastered the master bath. You created your own style. And you, yes you, turned a sourdough starter into a sourdough finisher. So when you learn your chronic dry eye is actually caused by reduced tear production due to inflammation, you take it on by talking to your eye care professional about Restasis, which may help you make more of your own tears with continued use twice a day, every day. Restasis helps increase your eye's natural ability to produce tears, which may be reduced by inflammation due to chronic dry eye. Restasis did not increase tear production in patients using anti-inflammatory eye drops or tear duct plugs. To help avoid eye injury and contamination, do not touch the bottle tip to your eye or other surfaces. Wait 15 minutes after use before inserting contact lenses. The most common side effect is a temporary burning sensation. Ask your eye care professional about Restasis. Now to trick out these lights. Visit Restasis.com to learn more.
Jade makes people do crazy things.
It's almost like we know what we're doing.
Men.
Dear night owls, when darkness falls, our stunning style takes flight as we soar over city streets. And our fuel economy is ever so wise. This ride's a hoot. Trust us, Toyota sedans.
Right now, lease a new Camry with all-wheel drive for just $189 a month. Or lease Camry Hybrid for just $189 a month. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
If you were diagnosed with mesothelioma or asbestos-related lung cancer, call the law firm of Weitz and Luxembourg, who, for the last 30 years, has achieved record-breaking New York City mesothelioma and lung cancer verdicts for thousands of your neighbors and coworkers. It does make a difference which law firm you hire, so choose wisely and call Weitz and Luxembourg today. Call 1-888-411-LAWS. That's 1-888-411-LAWS.
A severe thunderstorm watch is in effect. Currently in our area, 83 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Tonight, cloudy intervals, low 75. Thursday, thunderstorms developing in the afternoon, high 85. Chance of rain, 60%. Thursday night, showers and thunderstorms, low 73. Rainfall near an inch. Here's our 7-day outlook.
It seemed like a normal day.
I looked up at the sky and I seen the darkness coming.
I got an alert on my phone, and then all hell broke loose.
It was complete chaos. Go, go!
There's no way you can outrun it.
If Mother Nature gives you a warning sign, get ready for something big.
I've never seen anything like that.
I had no idea what had just happened.
You just hang on for dear life and hope for the best.
Welcome back to our coverage of Tropical Storm Elsa, which made landfall around 11 a.m. in Taylor County, Florida. And you can see the very agitated Gulf of Mexico and the elevated water there splashing up on the coastline. There were some reports of some minor flooding this afternoon, but outside of that, not too many problems. We certainly had some very strong wind, winds gusting to 65 miles per hour onshore, and then some tornadoes as well, which did cause some damage. Always a risk when you have a landfalling tropical cyclone. And right now we're watching that storm coming up into the Savannah area. There's a live look at beautiful downtown Savannah, and the winds have been very gusty here. We had a recent wind gust to 40 miles per hour. That is now down to 25 miles per hour. There you go, a gust to 31 most recently there. And so it is really pouring down rain here, and it's going to continue like that for a while. The heaviest band is now coming through. And by the way, we have seen some little areas of rotation within that heavier band. No tornado warnings as of yet, but we certainly could be looking at some of those later tonight. So that center of circulation at the last advisory was there in South Georgia. It's probably a little ahead of that now, right up in about there. And we'll see an update on that when we get the new advisory. That will be coming out here within 40 minutes. And again, that big, heavy band of rain now coming up through Savannah. But it's about ready to end. So it's going to continue for a few more minutes, and then it will wind down. And you see now that it is headed up towards Hilton Head, going to be moving up there and then into Beaufort as well, Hunting Island here into Fripp, and then across into Edisto. All of those areas are going to be in for that very heavy rain and some really strong wind as that big band of rain comes through. And again, we have seen some little areas of rotation, none of them tightening up enough to bring us a tornado warning, but right there's a little rotation, there's a little rotation, there's a little rotation, there is some. So we're seeing a bunch of areas where there is some rotation. It's just not tight enough to warrant a tornado warning right yet. But there is now a tornado watch in effect for eastern Georgia and also South Carolina. That is going until 5 o'clock in the morning. And that tornado threat will continue into tomorrow as well, up and down the 95 corridor, eastern parts of North and South Carolina, and also southeastern Virginia. So certainly it's been a mess here across parts of the southeast, Mark, and we've got a long way to go, actually. The storm continuing up into the mid-Atlantic region and also into the northeast.
Yeah, so that is the Elsa side of the Gulf and then moving up through the Atlantic. But we've been watching the other side of the Gulf as well. A totally, I won't say totally unrelated story, but a different story nonetheless. Soaking storms causing major flooding in parts of the Lone Star State, an upper-level low that was partially responsible for guiding Elsa in, was responsible for very heavy rains. Amarillo had some of these flooding rainstorms over the past couple of days. Some drivers were stranded. Earlier today, Texas Governor Abbott put state resources on standby, including search and rescue teams, because of the flood risk. You can make the argument, though, that the coast is now stealing the headlines. Rockport, Texas received more than 9.5 inches of rain in just 24 hours. Many roads were closed, and we still have flash flood warnings up across portions of the area. Earlier today, right about mid-afternoon, it was a flash flood emergency. Still flash flood warnings up, though, so there will be water-covered roads. We don't want anyone driving around tonight. You just can't tell how deep that water is. But this is the feature that we're watching. Upper level low right in here, and a big counterclockwise spin associated with it. Kind of broad, a little bit tough to pick out. But gosh, look at this. Look at those cold cloud tops. That high level of moisture and cold cloud top zone, that is this complex of thunderstorm action, which is still bending its way in and hitting the same areas again and again and again. So let's get a little bit closer into this. We start off where some of the worst of the rain was earlier today, where we had the flash flood emergency, including Oswell and Fulton and Rockport. Considerable flooding and still ongoing flash flood warnings because of it. But nice change, right? No active heavy rain in this warning at the moment. A little bit of light rain trying to kind of bend back in from the coastline, which would absolutely be insult on top of injury rains. However, we're looking in this corridor just east of there, maybe Port O'Connor, and then back towards Bloomington. This zone had that rain and the heavier rain a little bit longer. It's now moving north into the areas east of Port O'Connor, and that's also a crucial spot. I'm honestly a little bit surprised that we don't have new flash flood warnings there. Well, we don't have the same amount of rain that we've had. Fulton had a rainfall measurement over a foot, and that was earlier in the day. It's higher than that now, okay? So huge amounts of rain. But why I'm saying that it's a little bit surprising that we don't have more flash flooding in here is because they have the same, a similar flash flood guidance that within 6 hours, all that would be needed would be a ½ inch of rain, maybe even a little bit less than that to start causing flooding. Those bands coming in absolutely have that, so we need to at least monitor for some more flooding. Back to Elsa in just a sec as we follow it out of Georgia and up the coastline.
DiGiorno has 7 delicious crusts, and your family food critics will rave. Croissant crust is flaky layers of buttery bliss. Rising crust is fresh baked deliciousness. There's a 5-star pizza for everyone in your family to love. It's not delivery, it's DiGiorno.
This is new Special K dipped with crunchy flakes dipped in creamy chocolatey goodness and tossed with real almonds. New Kellogg's Special K dipped. Do what's delicious.
There's an America we build and one we discover. One that's been tamed and one that's forever wild. But freedom means you don't have to choose just one adventure. You get both. Introducing the wildly civilized, all-new 3-row Jeep Grand Cherokee L.
This is where legends are made. That's the NBA Finals. That's game.
We were gonna stuff Reese's Cups with feathers, and then we were like, wait a minute, pretzels. Yeah, pretzels would be way better. Reese's, now stuffed with pretzels.
Doug. So then I said to him, you gotta customize your car insurance with Liberty Mutual, so you only pay for what you need.
Doug, can we talk about something other than work? It's the weekend.
Yeah. Hot dog or chicken?
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Come in for Mambo sauce? Leave Queen of the Cookout. What we value most shouldn't cost more.
Wendy's only serves one kind of breakfast, a better one. So chuck your old soggy egg witch and pick up 2 of these freshly made sandwiches at Wendy's for just $4. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's 2 for $4.
If Philly Garcia listened to those who rejected him, he never would have made a name for himself, lining up some of the biggest names in pro sports. That's the fighting spirit. That's what makes a lion. Modelo, root for those with a fighting spirit.
Even as the world opens back up, some social distancing is still highly recommended. Get into the out there. The Weather Channel.
We are following the sights and sounds from Tropical Storm Elsa, awaiting the next advisory, which should come in within about a half an hour or so. That'll give us a full update on the thinking from the National Hurricane Center. Not only the position, but the wind speed and that forecast track. Not really anticipating significant updates or significant changes to the thought process. The model's in good agreement. The thought process has been spot on throughout this storm. But right now, 45-mile-per-hour winds are still possible as the storm moves north-northeast at 14, spiraling in that tropical moisture through coastal Georgia and now entering coastal South Carolina. The Hilton Head area is going to get absolutely slammed with very heavy rainfall. You're next in line, maybe with some embedded tornado threats in that kind of corridor from southern South Carolina to coastal Georgia over the next hour or so, and stretching out up the South Carolina coast from there. Let's show you what else we know right now with regards to Tropical Storm Elsa. Southeast Georgia's Kings Bay Naval Submarine Base has a tornado touchdown today. An RV park on the base was severely damaged, and about 10 people were taken to hospitals by ambulance. Meanwhile, 92 southeast Georgia counties are under a state of emergency. And to prepare for Elsa's arrival, North Carolina has activated its state of emergency operations center in the Raleigh area. And I want to bring in storm specialist Carl Parker, because Carl, the Raleigh area is going to see a lot of rain from this when all is said and done.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to rain probably just about all day tomorrow, and there certainly could be some flash flood warnings as a result of that. There you see a live look at Savannah right now. The wind's down to 15 miles per hour, so the strongest wind has been coming in with this band of rain. There's sort of one big prolific band of rain, and that has just now moved out of Savannah. Winds have come down. The visibility has improved. The rainfall rates have obviously dropped some. So it's still going to be raining for a while yet, but I think the worst of it is past you at this point. So there you see what's going on the radar picture right now, and we'll zoom down and give you a better look at what's happening here. You see that big band of rain that is now coming into areas just north of Savannah, about ready to move up into Hilton Head Island in very short order here. So there's Hilton Head Island right there, and then farther north you've got Beaufort, and then you've got Hunting Island, a beautiful state park there. It's a fantastic beach, no development because it's a state park, so basically you've got forest and beach. It's really, really pretty. And then there's Fripp and Pritchard beyond that, and then Edisto. So all of these areas are going to be in line for really heavy rain and a lot of lightning, and maybe a tornado warning or two. We've seen a number of areas where there is some rotation. You can broadly see some right in there, and you can broadly see some in there. None of it has tightened up to the point. Oftentimes you'll get some rotation in these storms, but it has to really tighten up to the point where it's worth issuing a tornado warning. And we have not seen that for a while. We had some tornado warnings earlier today, some actual tornadoes, but at least right now we're not looking at an imminent threat. However, there is a tornado watch that goes until 5 o'clock in the morning, that for parts of Georgia and South Carolina along that 95 corridor. And again, tomorrow, we're going to be looking at a tornado threat just a little farther to the north. There's a look at the flash flood threat, and that is going to be significant in South Carolina in particular, again with that big band of rain, and we can follow that coming into Charleston in the next couple of hours, and then it's going to be in place probably 2 to 3 to 4 o'clock in the morning. And then we'll get some drying after that, and things will improve dramatically. Then you see the rain coming up into Wilmington, into Cape Fear, as well as into Myrtle Beach, starting to come up into the Triangle and into Raleigh. So that's 9 o'clock in the morning when the rain is starting there in Fayetteville and Raleigh and along 95. Still going strong through the middle of the day and back into Greensboro and then also into Charlotte, and then still going into late afternoon, finally winding down by 5 to 6 o'clock. So that's a full day of rain and a lot of heavy rain within that. Would not be surprising to see some flash flood warnings in and around the Raleigh metro and then surrounding areas. And then we watch all that come up into the Delmarva and move up into parts of the Northeast as well. Winds recently gusting to 44 miles per hour in Savannah, so it's still gusty even after that band has come through. And here you see the progression of this going through the next couple of hours. Winds continue to be up to about 30, 35 in gusts, and that continues to move up the coast. We'll have much more on this coming up in a few minutes.
We've never been so ready to get back out there. And with Copper Tone Sport, we can reclaim the boulders, the backwoods, and the breakers. Copper Tone Sport. Find your sun.
What can I do with less asthma? Dupixent. I can do more beginner's yoga. Namaste. Namaste. Surprise parties. Aw, you guys. Dupixent helps prevent asthma attacks. For 3! So I can do more of the things I love. Dupixent is not for sudden breathing problems. It's an add-on treatment for specific types of moderate to severe asthma that can improve lung function for better breathing in as little as 2 weeks and can reduce or even eliminate oral steroids. And here's something important. Dupixent can cause serious allergic reactions, including anaphylaxis. Get help right away if you have rash, shortness of breath, chest pain, tingling, or numbness in your limbs. Tell your doctor if you have a parasitic infection, and don't change or stop your asthma treatments, including steroids, without talking to your doctor. Are you ready to do more with less asthma? Just ask your asthma specialist about Dupixent.
Thousands of women with metastatic breast cancer are living in the moment and taking Ibrance. Ibrance with an aromatase inhibitor is for postmenopausal women or for men with HR-positive, HER2-negative metastatic breast cancer as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ibrance plus letrozole significantly delayed disease progression versus letrozole. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor if you have new or worsening chest pain, cough, or trouble breathing. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. For more information about side effects, talk to your doctor. Be in your moment. Ask your doctor about Ibrance.
So now Dish allows you to access your Google Nest Hello doorbell from your TV, which means no more pausing your show for some lame delivery that's like not even for you. Or Mike Gardner here for your first date.
Wait, what time is it? No, he's here early. He can't see me like this. What do? Mom!
Always know who's at your door right from your TV.
I'm in, but stall.
View your Google Nest Hello doorbell on your TV with Dish. Tuned in to you.
Age is just a number, and mine's unlisted.
Try Boost High Protein with 20 grams of protein for muscle health versus 16 grams in Ensure High Protein. Boost High Protein also has key nutrients for immune support. Boost High Protein.
Mother Nature gives you a warning sign, get ready for something big.
We are tracking Elsa with a live view right now into Savannah, where one of the biggest bands of rain was rotating right on through. It is really coming down still in Savannah across the river, and just not a comfortable evening by any stretch. Wind and rain continuing. And so with this view, there's the bridge. You can see the shaking of the camera. Because of those winds, steady at 15, but gusts are higher, and then certainly within the heavy rain. And then this is River Street. Luckily has not turned into a river as it can at times. Granted, River Street has a lot of elevation. You have to walk down to get to the water, and that protects Savannah overall. There is a lot of elevation change. And here's downtown. Again, you can really see the sheets of rain coming by. Goodness gracious, it is pouring in Savannah. Again, those gusts up to about 25, could see higher than that in some of this band at times. It is really, really rainy right now. Here's a look at the current stats from Elsa. We are roughly 20 minutes away, maybe a little bit less, from the 11 o'clock advisory time coming in from the National Hurricane Center. But this is as of 8 o'clock. 45-mile-per-hour winds, as well as that movement off to the north-northeast at 14. An east-loaded storm still, so Savannah to Charleston seeing much more of a direct impact than near that center, which certainly has some rain, but it's not the same beast as if you go a little bit farther towards the east. And that has been the case all along through this storm. You know, it's not just coastal cities endangered by Elsa. We have some images to show you from Lake City, Florida. That's in the central part of the state. Look at the tree damage here. Huge trees, huge root balls letting go because of the saturated grounds. Outside Gainesville, west of Jacksonville. Trees down, damage to power lines, and residents here say there were some really scary moments.
Just came through around 7 o'clock. I just heard a big my trailer was shaking. I heard stuff flying all over the place, and it was just really bad. My shutters, everything, trees falling. I couldn't see outside. It was still dark. But I could hear the trailer rumble, the whole down like a train, just went all the way down that way.
In Jacksonville, reports, unfortunately, of the first U.S. fatality as a result of Elsa. Fire and rescue officials say one person was killed when a tree fell onto two vehicles. A possible tornado knocked down a lot of trees and left debris in the roads, and the power company is reporting some scattered outages in that area. I want to talk a little bit more about where you could still see some active weather across the south right now. We've got the center of the storm, again, as of the 8 o'clock advisory, center of Elsa back here. Look at all the action towards the coast, though. That's where the meat of the storm has been hanging out. Very heavy rain here. Broad rotation, though. That broad counterclockwise spin is bringing a band of showers as far inland as the Atlanta metro area, walking its way through Atlanta kind of east to west. And that's how you know it's tied to that counterclockwise spin. It's not with the front that's dropping in from the north, because then the rain would be going in the other direction. But this is the big story right now. Very heavy rains near the Savannah area. Let's get a little bit closer in, because you could argue that some of the worst of the rain may be ending in Savannah, but this is Tybee. Tybee Island getting absolutely hammered now with very prolific lightning. We may be able to pause this even and query that amount of lightning for you. Let's see if I can switch this over to lightning and then grab that for you, because just in the Tybee Island area, 61 strikes within the past 15 minutes. Impressive amount of lightning just in Tybee. Tybee's pretty small, and for that amount of lightning strike action in the past few moments, you know that it is a highly electrified storm, and it is that very cell that's going to be working its way towards the Hilton Head area also within the next moments to hour. As for the rain that's already occurred, this gives you an idea of how much rain potential is still possible. These are some of the Doppler radar estimates. Now remember, there were some flash flood warnings around the Brunswick area underneath that orange color, 4 to 5 inches of rain in that area earlier today. And now we're starting to see those yellow colors increasing between Savannah and Tybee, and it's just beginning to cross over into South Carolina. And that's not the end of the story. We're going to be able to follow this all the way into the Northeast with some big time rains on the way there also, Carl.
Yeah, there are actually tropical storm watches now all the way up the coast into parts of the Delmarva, the Jersey Shore, and on up into New England as well. You see all those yellow areas. We'll get into that in a moment. First of all, I'll take you into D.C. there on the left and New York on the right. So both of these cities could be impacted by the storm. There will be gusty wind in coastal areas in particular, and then a lot of heavy rain. And whenever you add an urban area to the mix, that's when you increase the odds that you'll see some flash flooding. So there you see the tropical storm watches that I mentioned, extending from the Carolinas on up into New England, where tropical storm force winds will be possible. There is a look at the timing of this, and so it's going to be coming up into the Delmarva overnight Thursday, and then moving into New Jersey and New York on Friday morning. And by the time we get into Friday afternoon, it'll be coming through Boston and then moving rapidly out into Maine and the Canadian Maritimes on Friday evening. So there's a look at the flood watches that are now in effect. Parts of North Carolina, Virginia, the Delmarva, Pennsylvania. Again, you got to really watch out in those major metro areas. It's just a lot easier to get flash flooding. You don't need as much rain to see flash flooding, and we're looking for a pretty sizable area of 2 to 3 inches of rain here, and that is across a good part of New England in particular. Also looking at some wind potential, tropical storm force winds extending up and along that 95 corridor and all along the coast there in the Northeast as well. So we will have much more on Elsa. We've got a new advisory coming up here in within the next 15 minutes. Stay tuned for that.
Come in for sweats? Leave as a squad. What we value most shouldn't cost more.
You're clearly someone who takes care of yourself. So why wait to screen for colon cancer? Because when caught in early stages, it's more treatable. I'm Cologuard. I'm non-invasive and detect altered DNA in your stool to find 92% of colon cancers, even in early stages.
Tell me more.
It's for people 45 plus at average risk for colon cancer, not high risk. False positive and negative results may occur. Ask your prescriber or an online prescriber if Cologuard is right for you.
I'll do it.
Good plan.
When you order carry-out, choose Domino's Carside Delivery. Check in when you arrive, and we guarantee we'll be headed out the door less than 2 minutes after your order is ready. If anything slows us down, your next pizza is free. Choose Domino's Carside Delivery and put our new 2-minute guarantee to the test.
Return to rugged. The all-new, ruggedly redesigned 2022 Nissan Pathfinder.
Daryl's family uses Gain Flings now, so their laundry smells more amazing than ever.
Isn't that the dog's towel?
Hey, me towel, suit towel. More Gain scent plus Oxy Boost and Febreze in every Gain Fling.
Hi, here we go again.
We're the Baumlers. They've risked it all to open this island resort.
Welcome to paradise.
Under construction. The new season of Renovation Island really is about survival. What are we risking?
You guys are killing me.
Absolutely everything.
All new Renovation Island on HGTV.
Watch live and on demand on all your devices with the Spectrum TV app. Download the app today.
Do you have a job? Do you have $136? If you do, we can sell you a new car today.
What about all these cars?
Yep, and many are available with no money down. Check out all of our Hondas, Toyotas, Kias, and Acuras online.
Are your sneezes putting your friends in awkward positions? Stick with Zyrtec. Zyrtec starts working hard at hour 1 and works twice as hard when you take it again the next day. Zyrtec, muddle no more.
Our goal is to find that $1 million boulder.
I will dig till my hands bleed.
That's so sketchy, dude.
Anything can shut you down.
It's almost like we know what we're doing.
A severe thunderstorm watch is in effect. Currently in our area, 83 degrees under fair skies. Tonight, cloudy intervals, low 75. Thursday, thunderstorms developing in the afternoon, high 85. Chance of rain, 60%. Thursday night, showers and thunderstorms, low 73. Rainfall near an inch. Here's our 7-day outlook.
It's early in hurricane season. You know, we're in July. We're already on the 5th named storm of the year. It looks like we're going to have a very active season again. So again, use this maybe as a dry run, if you will. Did you have the things that you needed? If you didn't have the things that you needed, make sure that you add those things to your supply kit, your supply list, so that if you have to evacuate later into the season, when we get into peak season in August, September, October, you're ready to respond when you need to.
Good advice there for sure. Now, here are some of the latest stats from Tropical Storm Elsa, moving its way up the coast. Now, we're moments away from a new advisory, so this position is a little bit back behind, right? We've got 3 more hours of movement. You can kind of feel where that center is, probably due west of Savannah. But all the action is in Savannah and in Hilton Head and heading towards Charleston. This east-loaded storm continues, 45 mile per hour top wind speed right now, and that movement continuing to the north-northeast at 14. When that 11 o'clock advisory comes in, you'll not only see it on your screen, but you'll get updates from us, and we'll go through what is changing. I guess potential for some of the tropical storm watches from up the coast to start transitioning over to tropical storm warnings. We'll have to see. It's a function of time, right? So let's talk about where else we're following the ordeal from Elsa, because across the Northeast, people are cleaning up after a strong line of severe storms, unrelated to Elsa, but will still impact Elsa because Elsa's coming into the same area. Lots of damage so far today. 58-mile-per-hour wind gusts and heavy rain toppled large trees like the one here in Glen Rock, New Jersey. Tens of thousands of people still without power. Crews will have to work very fast to clean up and restore power because this same area is, as I mentioned, in Elsa's path. So just not fair. Look at the size of the root ball in that giant tree then leaning on the house. Hopefully didn't go through the roof and into the home. That's always super scary, especially if anyone is on that second level. The storm is expected to head up the Atlantic coast within the next day or so. And so you're looking live right now towards Atlantic City and then down the road towards Boston. Both areas that are going to have potentially direct impacts from Elsa. And this is insult on top of injury because we have an old front draped across the Northeast. We've had big storms today. We're going to continue to have some big storms over the next couple of days. And so all of this that's all power issues because of that stalled out front. Now, a big change in the past hour. Georgia has jumped into the top 5 states for outages. You got to assume that that's near the Savannah area with the copious amounts of rain and wind that we have going on. But for the Northeast, this is an area that's still going to have the chance for severe weather. Not because of Elsa yet. This is out ahead of Elsa with some big thunderstorm action. We've got an old boundary right here, and storms that are coming up through Pennsylvania and kind of riding along that boundary have a chance of lasting through the evening hours at a minimum and potentially through portions of the overnight. So a severe thunderstorm watch for the next few moments till 5 minutes or so. But we could certainly see that being extended because this complex right here is definitely holding its own. Look at the bowing shape to those storms as it moves on through. That indicates very gusty winds, and the model doing a good job at picking out that feature already. As we roll this timing forward, look how it holds together. Here's midnight, here's 3 a.m., and it's still moving into, say, western portions of Massachusetts, and then all the way into the morning, it goes off the coast. But we're not done because that stalled out boundary is still there, and so we get a chance to kind of reset the atmosphere. Look, it comes out of the Great Lakes by Thursday afternoon. That'll stretch across New England. Again, all out ahead of Elsa. That is the rain from Elsa. This is all rain because of that boundary and that next little upper level feature that is entering the Northeast corridor. So several rounds of rain, saturated grounds, then tropical moisture and wind come into play. And so we could have some problems. Again, first a chance for flooding through Thursday morning, and then more comes in. So Carl, when the grounds are saturated, especially this time of year, fully leafed out trees, we're certainly going to see at least some chance for tree damage.
No doubt, and there's going to be a good bit of wind all the way up into the Northeast in those heavily populated areas along the 95 corridor. So here is a look at the probability of tropical storm force winds, those extending up through the Carolinas and then into the Delmarva, and then along the Northeast coast and in southeast New England, which sort of juts out there. That's going to be on Friday afternoon. So let's take a look at the timing of this. So we'll go into Thursday, and then into Thursday afternoon, the winds really picking up in Tidewater, Virginia, along the Chesapeake Bay there, Tangiers Island, Chincoteague and Assateague, and then into Salisbury, Maryland, Ocean City, Rehoboth, and up into Lewis and Delaware. All of those areas seeing some pretty strong wind by the time we get into Thursday night. It's not going to quite reach as far as D.C. I mean, it'll be breezy, but it's not going to be as windy as it will be in these coastal areas. Then into Friday early morning, we're still getting some wind on the backside of the low, winds gusting 20 to 25, maybe 30 miles per hour in Ocean City. Now, farther northeast up into New England, got light wind for the most part on Thursday. Then we get into Thursday evening and Friday morning. Wind really starts to pick up. I'm going to jump back just a little bit here, and we can see that wind core coming up towards Long Island. That's going to be overnight Thursday and into Friday morning. So some wind gusts probably over 30 miles per hour in Long Island Friday early morning before sunrise.
Jake from State Farm. I would like to formally extend my gratitude for the Russell rate on my insurance.
Do you mean surprisingly great rates from State Farm?
I don't believe in accepting help but I'll make an exception.
Here's the deal, Russell. There's no special rate. These prices are for everyone.
With the oak and the eagle as witness, consider us square. I made that from memory. I know your face that well.
When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Looked bigger online. Someday, we'll find the right trip.
Seize your someday today with Travelocity.
Get the right information so you can book confidently.
Travelocity. Seize your someday.
Whoa, Susan.
Oh, I'm looking for coupon codes.
Well, Capital One Shopping instantly searches for available coupon codes and automatically applies them. It's called shopping smart, not hard.
But I don't have a Capital One card.
You should get one, but you don't need it for this. Just download Capital One Shopping to your computer. It's free.
Ooh, save me some cheddar.
So, when's the party? I love fondue.
Really?
I never joke about hot cheese, Susan.
Me neither.
Capital One Shopping. It's kind of genius. What's in your wallet?
Hi, Verizon launched the first 5G network, and now we want to be the first to give everyone the joy of 5G by giving every customer a new 5G phone on us. Old customers, new customers, families, businesses, in-laws, law firms. Every customer, new 5G phones when you trade in your old ones. And if you're not a customer, we'll help cover the cost to switch. Just ask Wanda. She's been with us since now. Upgrade your phone, upgrade your network.
When you order carry-out, choose Domino's Carside Delivery. Check in when you arrive, and we guarantee we'll be headed out the door less than 2 minutes after your order is ready. If anything slows us down, your next pizza is free. Put Domino's new 2-minute guarantee to the test.
Hey, my name is Jonelle, and a little thing that I love about Chick-fil-A's new Lemon Kale Caesar salad is every tender piece of grilled chicken on top of that salad. It'll make you want to sing, Lemon Kale Caesar. I'm blushing.
Rush Hour will never feel the same. Experience thrilling performance from our entire line of vehicles at the Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event. Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
Ladies, check it out. So strong, so not ripped.
What are we talking about?
That's the Hefty Ultra Strong bag.
Hefty, hefty, hefty.
Give me the bag.
Get Hefty Ultra Strong at a low price.
We've never been so ready to get back out there. And with Copper Tone Sport, we can reclaim the boulders, the backwoods, and the breakers. Copper Tone Sport. Find your sun.
Elsa made landfall in the U.S. as a strong tropical storm. Official landfall, Steinhatchee, Florida. That's near Cedar Key, and this is what it looked like. You're in the washing machine here. Sheets of rain going by, small raindrops getting obliterated by the wind, and look at the street sign there off in the distance doing the flutter back and forth, which is one of those classic tropical system appearances when the wind is howling in. Winds were at 65 miles per hour, a little bit off hurricane strength at that point. A couple of different phases of hurricane in the history of Elsa, but again, came in as a strong tropical storm. And the storm is far from over at this point. Right now, Elsa continues to pound parts of the southeast with strong winds and heavy rain. We're watching for possible tornadoes from Georgia into the Carolinas. And then from there, Elsa is expected to march up the east coast, bringing tropical storm conditions into the northeast, including just outside of, say, D.C. and outside New York and into the Boston area and the Cape. So coastal New England will be following this storm as well through Friday. The 11 o'clock advisory is now in, and so this is the latest update from the National Hurricane Center. No significant changes on this at first glance. Still 45 mile per hour winds, still moving north-northeast a little bit faster, moving at 16 instead of 14 miles per hour. Pressure has come up just a little bit, holding at about 1,006 millibars and 80 miles northwest of Brunswick, which makes the center almost due west of Savannah as well by a little bit farther out. But the worst of the weather is still on that east side. And so the highly populated corridor from Savannah to Hilton Head to Charleston is going to see the worst of the weather. And we'll continue to break down what this 11 o'clock advisory means for those of you up the coast as we continue our live coverage. We're tracking Elsa. I'm meteorologist Mark Elliott, along with storm specialist Carl Parker. And Carl, this storm's got another day and a half to go all the way up the eastern seaboard. New cone has been issued by the National Hurricane Center, and that graphic is coming into our system right now. So let's talk a little bit more about where this storm is now and where it's going next.
Well, right now we've seen the heaviest of rain just go through Savannah. We saw some winds gusting up to 40 miles per hour along with that, and we're going to see very gusty wind with that band in particular. There's one really big prolific band that is now coming up into southern parts of South Carolina, and that is the feature that is really going to bring a lot of weather in. So there you see the local radar here. We'll get down even a little bit tighter. The rain has definitely tapered off some in Savannah. Will continue for a while yet, but that heaviest band now coming up across the 95 corridor and not very far away from, it's really coming into the southern end of Hilton Head Island. A lot of lightning here as well. So we're going to be looking at some rainfall rates of 1 to 2 inches per hour, very stormy for a time. That's not very far away from Beaufort here, as well as into Hunting Island and Harbor Island down towards Fripp, and then across into Edisto. All of those areas getting hit hard by this heavy rain as that moves in. And we have seen winds gusting over 40 miles per hour when the band comes through. That's pretty typical when you've got heavier showers and storms. What they do is they reach up and they grab some of the stronger wind aloft and more easily transport that down to the ground. So oftentimes when the rain does get heavier, you expect to see more wind as well. We have seen little transient features from time to time. There's one right there, little areas of rotation. None have yet risen to the level of a tornado warning in South Carolina, but or it's been a little while in Georgia as well. But certainly we may see some tornado warnings tonight. There's a lot of wind shear in the atmosphere, which is to say that winds are coming out of the southeast at the surface, and they're coming out of the south and a lot more quickly at about 5,000 feet. So that turning of the winds in the lowest 5,000 feet of the atmosphere, that creates a rolling motion, and that rolling motion can then get into storms, and that's the beginning of the process that leads to tornadoes. So we've got tornado watches in effect across parts of South Carolina and also into Georgia, that going until 5 o'clock in the morning. So that certainly is something we need to watch out for. Torcon of 2 tomorrow in the eastern part of North Carolina, also in Tidewater, Virginia. A lot of heavy rain tonight. The greatest threat is going to be in South Carolina, again with that big band that is now coming through. And here's the timing of that. That coming into Charleston, 2 o'clock in the morning or so. It's going to be very heavy overnight, 2 to 3 to 4 o'clock in the morning. Columbia getting hit hard. Charlotte getting in on the rain. Watch Raleigh here. 9 o'clock in the morning. It's starting to rain. It continues to rain all day long. That's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, still coming down very heavily. Even late afternoon, we're still getting more rain in Raleigh. And then all of this comes up and into Tidewater, Virginia, and eventually makes its way towards the Delmarva as well. We're going to talk more about the northeast impacts coming up here in just a few minutes. Mark, over to you.
But, you know, one of the dangers that we often see with hurricanes and tropical storms when they come towards land are tornadoes. And this tornado in particular was very impressive today, partially because of the size here. You don't often see the classic wedge tornado from a tropical system. But, Carl, we also saw it very clearly using the technology, right? The Doppler radar couplet was strong. The debris signature when this was in progress was strong. That's also reasonably rare from tropical tornadoes, which often are more just a general wind shift, and it's enough to get them going.
Yeah, I mean, that looks to be a pretty strong tornado. You know, it's going to be very interesting to see what the EF rating is in this case. But it is a large tornado, certainly, but also still illustrates, you know, part of what makes these tornadoes and tropical systems so dangerous. You know, in the southeast, you've got a lot of tree cover. You tend to have very low cloud bases, and there's a lot of moisture in the air. And so all of that serves to make it all sort of amorphous. I mean, there are moments here we can very clearly see that V shape, but then when it starts to get behind the trees, it's a little bit harder to tell, you know, exactly what you're looking at, especially to an untrained eye. But, you know, people do report hearing the whooshing sound, or, you know, the freight train is very common. You know, it's funny because there are a lot of eyewitness reports from people who see tornadoes for the first time, and they say they intuitively knew that it was a tornado, even though they had never heard anything like that in their lives. they knew that it was a tornado just because it was so strange. It was so outside of their experience.
And another view of that same storm. And Carl brought up a good point. While we have a decent view of this funnel right now, it was almost immediately rain wrapped. It almost immediately brought all that rain around the circulation. And so for a while, there were reports of damage continuing with nobody seeing it at that point because it was just such heavy rain.
Yeah, so many times these things are going to be rain wrapped, and there's a good example. Like, it's almost, it's really difficult to kind of pick out where it is right there. There's definitely a darkness off in the distance, but where exactly is that tornado? And so, that's the visibility issue that, extends beyond just tropical systems, but is a problem in the Southeast in general, which is why we say the Southeast has a very high societal vulnerability to tornadoes, much more so than the plains.
If the video didn't start here and started towards when that tornado was on the right side of the screen, you'd have no idea that was a tornado moving across the landscape. One of those possible tornadoes blamed for the first Elsa-related death in the U.S. The strong winds knocked down a tree in Jacksonville this afternoon that fell on 2 cars and killed 1 person. Meteorologist Tevin Wooten is in Jacksonville with more on the damage there.
Well, as Elsa pulls out, we've been left with a slew of damage across the county. I'm meteorologist Tevin Wooten in Duval County, Florida. Downtown Jacksonville right behind me, and so is the St. Johns River, which is much calmer than it was earlier today. We picked up close to 2.5 inches of rainfall. Still a little bit more to go as we go throughout the evening hours today. And speaking of earlier today, what did we see from Tropical Storm Elsa? Anytime you get a hurricane or a tropical storm even, you always get strong feeder bands or outer rainfall bands that not only produce heavy rainfall, but produce strong squalls of winds as well. We've seen winds between 40 and 50 miles per hour, and look at what it did in terms of damage. Right around 3 o'clock, when the first squall came through, we actually saw trees come down in one neighborhood near Roosevelt Boulevard. Unfortunately, that tree fell on 2 cars, and 1 person died as a result of that tree falling down. And then around the 5 o'clock hour came the second squall line. This was much stronger, contained winds between 40 and 55 miles per hour for some of the strongest gusts, and also a tornado warned storm at that continued from Fruit Cove and points towards the north and northeast into southeastern Georgia. Out of that tornado warned storm, yes, we saw damaging winds, we saw heavy rainfall, and we also saw trees that came down near University Boulevard and portions of I-95. The trees came down, siding strewn about as well throughout several apartment complexes, and even some roofing too. That's just several different sites that we saw throughout portions of northeastern Florida and Jacksonville. First responders and the Jacksonville Fire and Rescue Department still urging residents to stay where they are. Don't necessarily try to get out right now because they've got to clear the debris off the roadway such that things will be easier to pass into tonight and tomorrow. That's the latest here from Jacksonville. I'm meteorologist Tevin Wooten, the Weather Channel.
Thanks, Tevin. And Tevin mentioned that storm that then crossed over into Georgia. We've got some new information about a suspected tornado that touched down at the Naval Submarine Base, Kings Bay. That's in Georgia. Reports of multiple injuries, many taken to medical facilities for treatment. Several RVs in the RV park on the base were damaged. Also reports of damage to buildings on the installation. The tornado, part of the tropical storm Elsa, as it moved through the area, which is often the case. Tropical systems often spawn tornadoes. So this is a tornado that is tied to Tropical Storm Elsa. Without Elsa, that tornado wouldn't have been there. Now, we continue to have a tornado threat tonight. Tornado watch continues overnight until 5 a.m. It's been trimmed back a bit. We've cut off a couple of the counties here as the position of the low has moved north. The rotation component of the wind profile in the atmosphere has moved north along with it, but we're still looking at a healthy amount of counties here, coastal Georgia up through coastal South Carolina, with a tornado watch until 5 a.m. Here's a look at that wind profile. Now, the worst of the wind shift is going to be in this area, where right now winds at the surface are coming up like this and then bending their way back towards the area of low pressure. That low is centered right in here. That's our center of our low pressure area. So those blue lines are the surface winds, while aloft we suddenly have winds coming up out of the south as opposed to more easterly in that area. And that is enough of a spin to give us at least a chance for a couple of storms, which is why we've got this red zone and the chance of a tornado. It's a 3 out of 10 on the Torcon, Carl, so at least a chance of some spin-up tornadoes here.
And we continue to look at the possibility of some flash flooding with this storm. We've had some flash flood warnings through the day today, some of them with the considerable threat tag indicating a life-threatening flash flooding situation. That was the case earlier today in Georgia. That is a live look at Sullivan's Island in South Carolina, where the rain really starting to come down, and we could get some rainfall rates of 1 to 2 to 3 inches per hour in some of these heavier bands. So there's a look at the rainfall to come, and you're talking about 2 to 3 inches there across parts of South Carolina and North Carolina going into tomorrow. The flash flood threat is going to be greatest really here in South Carolina as it's now beginning to wind down in Georgia. And we can show you the model forecast and show you how this is going to play out. So, there you go into 2 o'clock in the morning, the heaviest of rain anywhere from, say, Edisto up into Charleston, coming into Columbia as well. 3 to 4 o'clock in the morning starts to move away from Charleston, coming into Myrtle Beach, raining heavily in Columbia, South Carolina, even reaching all the way up into Greenville. Then 9 o'clock in the morning, Cape Fear and Wilmington, Myrtle Beach still getting the heavy rain. The rain's coming up into Raleigh as well. It's going to rain for most of the day tomorrow in Raleigh as well as into Charlotte. Really coming down there in the Triangle, 1 p.m. Plenty of heavy rain and thunderstorms along the Sounds and the Outer Banks. And the rain finally begins to move out of Raleigh late in the afternoon and comes up into South Central Virginia, up into Richmond and into Danville as we go into the dinner hour. So a lot of wet weather on the way and a flash flood threat across the Carolinas along with that. Mark, over to you.
And we're then going to follow this into the Northeast corridor, because the Northeast is going to see some significant rains on the way from Elsa, on top of the rains you've been seeing over the past couple of days, and we'll see through tomorrow, leading, well out ahead of Elsa's rain. D.C., New York, both included in those areas that could see rain because of the tropics. Unbelievable, right? That we're still going to be talking about Elsa all the way up the New England coastline. Here's a look at that, latter part of the track, getting through the Atlantic City area and up towards New York City by sometime Friday, early in the day, Friday morning. By Friday evening, coastal Maine, and then finally saying goodbye through Southeast Canada and into the Canadian Maritimes as we start off the weekend. And you know what? Good riddance, because we've been tracking this name for what feels like forever at this point. Now, we have a tropical storm position that's going to be crucial, because it's close enough to the coast, whether the center is right on the shore or just off the shore or a little bit inland. At that point, it doesn't really matter much, because it's going to be close enough. We're going to see this real long fetch of tropical moisture pointed right back into New England. There's going to be a front that's going to be sweeping this away, so the forward speed is going to be increasing, and that's why this thing goes barreling through the Northeast. But not fast enough, and that low not far enough east to protect the East Coast from getting any of that tropical rain. So here's a look at the Atlantic City area. You'll see the showers and storms starting to pop up Thursday evening, but it's really overnight leading into Friday with the heavy rain that comes through southern portions of the Jersey Shore. Want to also show you the New York City forecast, because here in New York, look at this. Northern suburbs are going to see a couple of rounds of big storms, not only tonight, but then again tomorrow night. And that's before Elsa. We have all that rain approaching from the south, leading into your Friday morning commute time. It is going to be pouring Friday morning in the Big Apple. So stay with the Weather Channel and continue to tune in as we track Elsa up the East Coast. Live reports and expert analysis you can't get anywhere else.
There's an America we build and one we discover. One that's been tamed and one that's forever wild. But freedom means you don't have to choose just one adventure. You get both. Introducing the wildly civilized, all-new, 3-row Jeep Grand Cherokee L.
Not everybody wants the same thing. That's why I go with Liberty Mutual. They customize my car insurance so I only pay for what I need. Because I do things a bit differently. What, teddy bears? What, teddy bears, Hick?
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Curiosity pushes you forward. It's what inspired Meiomi to create an unrivaled wine using the best from California to push flavor in new directions for a taste like no other. Meiomi, flavor forward.
Real fruit and whole grains. Doing something good for yourself has never been this easy. Just do what's delicious. Kellogg's Special K.
Hey, I'm Jordan. A little thing I love about Chick-fil-A's new lemon kale Caesar salad is how the textures combine. The kale, the crispy breadcrumbs, all tied together with the warm grilled nuggets and the dressing and lemon juice. That's my favorite.
With a little bit of smile.
Okay, at AT&T, everyone gets our best deals on all smartphones. Let me break it down. You got your new customers, they get our best deals. You got your existing customers, they also get our best deals. Everyone gets the deals. Questions?
Got it. But why did you use a permanent marker?
Because I want to make sure you remember. I'm gonna get a new whiteboard.
It's not complicated. Only AT&T gives everyone our best deals on every smartphone, like the Samsung Galaxy S21 5G for free.
Return to rugged. The all-new ruggedly redesigned 2022 Nissan Pathfinder.
Just one drop.
Oh! Gorilla Superglue Micro Precise. Of course!
Precise application, controlled dispensing with Gorilla Strength. For the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
Mother Nature gives you a warning sign. Get ready for something big.
This is. You could pick from hundreds of law firms in New York or New Jersey for your mesothelioma or asbestos lung cancer case. But would you be confident that you made the best choice? Whites & Luxembourg is the firm that has represented more asbestos disease clients than any other firm in the metropolitan area. With 30 years experience, they have New York's highest asbestos verdicts of all time. The choice is clear, and the stakes could not be higher.
Whites & Luxembourg has our backs.
Go with the firm that understands your injury, your job, and the courts. Call Whites & Luxembourg today.
Call Whites & Luxembourg, the firm that has won 6 of the top 13 product liability verdicts in New York over the last decade. They have represented thousands of your fellow workers in the tri-state area for over 30 years. They will guide you through every step of the litigation and settlement process. This may be the most important financial decision you will ever have to make. Call 1-888-411-LAWS. That's 1-888-411-LAWS.
A flash flood watch is in effect. Currently in our area, 83 degrees under fair skies. Tonight, partly cloudy. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. Low 75. Thursday, thunderstorms developing in the afternoon. High 85. Chance of rain 60%. Thursday night, showers and thunderstorms. Low 73. Rainfall may reach 1 inch. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Around here, they say if you don't like the weather, just wait a minute.
I love to watch the waves after a storm. The storm can be long gone, but the waves just keep going.
Ask my history teacher where to go to college. He said, go where you like the weather. Best advice I've ever gotten.
Get into the out there. The Weather Channel.
Welcome back as we follow Elsa from the Georgia coast to the South Carolina coast. And right now we're looking live in Savannah. Remember, we were telling you about all that very heavy rain, ridiculously fast rainfall rates. Well, right now, our own Charles Peak is up against a road. Lots of barricades here. People still driving through, despite the fact that we have two different cars, both with hazards on. Whether they were parked there and the water came up into the electronics and turned those hazards on, or they tried to drive through and got stuck is impossible to say at this point. But you did see one car go through the water. One got a little bit in and said, nope, and turned back around. That is what we want to see. We'd rather you not get into the drink at all. But if you do encounter that water, turning around and finding a dry, safe route is the way to do it. Because it's nighttime. You just have no sense on how deep that water is. You know that this is a vulnerable spot and that this has happened because the caution tape is there. You can see the yellow tape there at times. Let's bring in our own Charles Peak, who came upon this scene. Charles, you know, we can only see so much through your camera. What can you see in person? How many cars can you tell that are stuck in this mess?
So far, it looks like about, based on the side roads I was seeing coming in here, there's probably 7 or 8 different cars that are stalled out here. Needless to say, based on some I just passed, the water's come down considerably from when they stalled out. These are still in some water, but I'm going to assume it was a little even deeper when they got stuck. But you can still see vehicles on the side roads trying to go through, and it always amazes me. They see these stalled out cars but think it won't happen to them.
Can you tell if anyone is still inside these vehicles, or have they been there long enough that police have gotten everybody out of harm's way?
I think it's safe to say I can see at the very far end, a fire department. This section here is probably, I'm going to say, half a mile where it's flooded here with multiple cars along it. But they have these caution tape where they put up on both sides. Law enforcement left as I was pulling up. So I feel pretty comfortable that they've already been out there and checked on these people and then put the caution tape trying to keep other people from driving into it. And then is that a tow truck approaching or an emergency vehicle? It's hard to tell. All we see is a big yellow blob coming our way. For me, I know the colors get a little weird. It's red. I don't know what Georgia laws are on tow trucks. If it's a fire, it looks more like a fire vehicle based on the red lights I'm seeing. And then, you know, you were traveling into the Savannah area throughout the late evening hours, kind of as that burst of heavy rain was arriving. What was that like? Were you able to see through your windshield at all? Yeah, I was able to see a little bit, but, you know, needless to say, had to slow down. Most vehicles, you know, had their hazards on and as they were going down the road. But it was very treacherous for a little bit, and you just slow down and take it easy, and you can safely get there on the interstates. But, you know, they're built in most cases where they're going to drain very well in these type of flash flood situations. But these side streets and roads like here, Abercorn Street here, between 61st, East 61st, and maybe East 66th Street, they don't have the kind of drainage, and so the water goes to the lowest spot, and then this is what you get. And these vehicles, Mark, are actually, I mean, they're in the middle of the road here. They didn't park, and it just came up around them. They drove into it, and this is what they got stuck with. Yeah, insurance claim at a minimum. Hopefully everybody wound up getting out of the car safely. What do you want people to know, Charles? This same line has exited Savannah for the worst of the rain, but is now right over Hilton Head. It's headed towards the Beaufort, South Carolina area. What should people be expecting as this, you know, very heavy rain moves their way? Well, what I think happens a lot, and I see it all over the country in this particular area because it's very flat, you know, what happens is you probably could drive your car through it from a perspective of the car would make it, but you don't realize your air intakes, especially on these smaller cars, are down low, and then it sucks that water up into the engine, and then you've got, at the very least, a very expensive bill, if not totaled your car. You know, no, you may not have been in a situation that you were going to lose your life, but becomes a very expensive situation. But sometimes you don't know if that happens. You don't know that it's going to be 6 foot deeper water in 5 minutes, and it can turn into a very dangerous situation. So this, when you see it, even though you think you can drive through it, turn around. It's just the smarter move.
Yeah, use this as an example. Cars getting stuck at night in high water. We say it again and again and again. There are extra dangers on the road at night. Nobody has to be out traveling through this, and unless they are the emergency responders. That's Charles Peak reporting for us tonight. Charles, we'll check back in with you in a little bit. Thank you so much for that report, and stay safe and dry out there. Meanwhile, that storm that we mentioned moving north and east is now under a severe thunderstorm warning, including South Carolina. So it's Beaufort, Carlton, and Jasper. Hilton Head is included in this. Very heavy rain, gusty winds up to at least 60, and very frequent lightning. Big lightning jump here, suggesting a stronger updraft. And what goes up must come down. Eventually, those strong winds come down to the surface also.
So now Dish allows you to access your Google Nest Hello doorbell from your TV, which means no more pausing your show for some lame delivery that's like not even for you. Or Mike Gardner here for your first date.
Wait, what time is it? No, he's here early. He can't see me like this. What do I do? Mom!
Always know who's at your door right from your TV.
I'm in, but stall.
View your Google Nest Hello doorbell on your TV with Dish. Tuned in to you.
Kids can change minds. They can even change the world around us. Packed with protein plus 21 vitamins and minerals, we nourish them with Carnation Breakfast Essentials. Because today could change everything.
Well, look at you. You mastered the master bath. You created your own style. And you, yes you, turned a sourdough starter into a sourdough finisher. So when you learn your chronic dry eye is actually caused by reduced tear production due to inflammation, you take it on by talking to your eye care professional about Restasis, which may help you make more of your own tears with continued use twice a day, every day. Restasis helps increase your eye's natural ability to produce tears, which may be reduced by inflammation due to chronic dry eye. Restasis did not increase tear production in patients using anti-inflammatory eye drops or tear duct plugs. To help avoid eye injury and contamination, do not touch the bottle tip to your eye or other surfaces. Wait 15 minutes after use before inserting contact lenses. The most common side effect is a temporary burning sensation. Ask your eye care professional about Restasis. Now to trick out these lights. Visit Restasis.com to learn more.
Ladies, check it out. So strong, so not ripped.
What are we talking about?
That's the Hefty Ultra Strong bag.
Hefty, hefty, hefty.
Give me the bag.
Get Hefty Ultra Strong at a low price.
What does it mean to be a hero?
Ancestry helped me learn more about the man behind the medal.
He was a father to 2 young daughters.
He was a scout, and he knew the land better than anyone.
He came from Italy with nothing for a new life.
His family depended on him. He sacrificed so much.
Isaac Payne.
Barney F. Hajiro.
Elijah Bacon.
Michael Valenti.
He is our family's hero.
Who are the heroes in your family?
Are you one of the millions of Americans who experience occasional bloating, gas, or abdominal discomfort? Taking Align every day can help. Align contains a quality probiotic developed by gastroenterologists. It adds more good bacteria to your gut to naturally help soothe your occasional bloating, gas, and abdominal discomfort. Support your digestive health with Align, the #1 doctor-recommended probiotic. Try Align today. And try new Align fast-acting biotic gummies. Help soothe occasional digestive upsets in as little as 7 days.
Oh my God! Evacuate immediately!
If you're just tuning in, the 11 o'clock advisory is in from the National Hurricane Center. Still a tropical storm Elsa, moving north-northeast at 16 miles per hour with a top wind speed of 45. Those are the sustained winds associated with the circulation. However, in some of these thunderstorms, there have been higher winds than that in gusts in the thunderstorms. So like any severe thunderstorm, you can certainly see stronger winds, and we're going to continue to see that tonight. So keep that in mind. It is the gusts that often bring down the trees, not necessarily the sustained winds, especially with winds of this nature. But those gusts, those higher bursts, could continue to bring down trees and power lines this evening. Let's bring you up to speed. Again, if you're just tuning in, the latest on Tropical Storm Elsa. There has been a U.S. death from Elsa that happened earlier today when a tree fell on 2 cars in Jacksonville, killing 1 person. Georgia's Kings Bay Naval Submarine Base says a tornado came through. An RV park on the base was severely damaged. About 10 people were taken to hospitals by ambulance. And we also have about 15,000 customers now without power in Georgia, partially because of the tornadoes earlier, but also because of the very gusty winds that moved through the Savannah area and the surrounding communities with the thunderstorms that are now moving into South Carolina. So expect the South Carolina numbers to increase with regards to power outages. Speaking of the heavy rain that we saw in Savannah, these are live images coming to us from Savannah. Just spoke with Charles Peak, who told us that between this street and some of the side roads around it, somewhere around 7, maybe 8 cars at a minimum stalled out in high water as that line came through. So overwhelmed the storm drains, and we had water up to at least the intake of the vehicle's engines. That air intake got covered up in water, and that's a recipe for stalling out your car. An insurance claim and a repair bill on the way. At a minimum, the worst case scenarios, you're putting yourself and the first responders' lives in jeopardy. And so please be careful tonight. The risk is not done from this tropical storm. Want to bring back storm specialist Carl Parker, watching this go into South Carolina with some very gusty winds.
Yeah, we're seeing a very strong wind threat locally now with a severe thunderstorm warning in effect that is northeast of Savannah. Does include Hilton Head Island. Let's zoom on in and give you the latest on that. So that is Beaufort, Colleton, and Jasper counties under warning. And that cell is moving northeast at 45 miles per hour. There is a warning here for 80-mile-per-hour wind, and we did get a report on Hilton Head Island of a wind gust to 80 miles per hour, and we are seeing some velocities of that nature with this storm. So it is really packing a punch here. That is going to be coming up into Laurel Bay more immediately, Beaufort at 11:37, Dale at 11:44, Chisholm at 11:50, and Bennett's Point at 11:56. And let's take a look at the velocities here. So what's happening here is the radar is picking up the wind where the very strong wind is. That is now coming across Hilton Head Island, and you've got a pretty good shot at bringing these velocities down to the ground if you've got very heavy rain, which we are seeing here. Look at that. That's an inbound velocity of 81 miles per hour. And in a tropical system, you've got really strong wind aloft. And what thunderstorms can do is they can reach up and they can grab some of that wind and bring it down to the ground. So again, we got a report of 80 mile per hour wind. We're seeing that in the velocities. This is a very mean storm that is now coming through, moving through Hilton Head Island right now. It's going to be coming up towards Paris Island before too long here. You see Beaufort right in there. You'll be getting in on the strong wind. There's Harbor Island right there. Fripp Island as well, Pritchard Island. All of these areas are going to be in line for some really strong wind in short order, as again, this is moving northeast at 45 miles per hour. And then as you look farther out, we are seeing some little areas of rotation as well. There's a little pinpoint right there. Could be a water spout. Some other broader areas of rotation right there, and right there, and then right there. So there's definitely rotation showing up out over the open water right now. So there too, I'd be concerned about the possibility of some water spouts coming on shore. There is a tornado watch in effect, that going until 5 o'clock in the morning. Includes much of southern South Carolina and southeastern parts of Georgia as well. So an ongoing threat for tornadoes and also very heavy rain. You see what has come down here in the last 6 hours, widespread amounts of 3 to 4 to 5 inches.
So you have diabetes. Here are some easy rules. No sugar, no pizza, no food you love. Stress, no stress. Exercise, but no days off. Easy, no? But with Freestyle Libre 14-Day, you can take the mystery out of your diabetes. Now you know.
Sir, you know what you want to order?
Yes. Freestyle Libre 14-Day. Try it for free.
If Nathan Adrian backed down from a cancer diagnosis, he wouldn't be back on the world stage, continuing to train and fighting to win. That's the fighting spirit. That's what makes a lion. Modelo, root for those with a fighting spirit.
Good morning.
More treatment.
We're going to try something different today.
Oh, he's so pretty.
Dogs bring out the good in us. Pedigree brings out the good in them.
Hi, Verizon launched the first 5G network, and now we want to be the first to give everyone the joy of 5G by giving every customer a new 5G phone on us. Old customers, new customers, families, businesses, in-laws, law firms. Every customer, new 5G phones when you trade in your old ones. And if you're not a customer, we'll help cover the cost to switch. Just ask Wanda. She's been with us since now. Upgrade your phone, upgrade your network.
Riders, the lone wolves of the great highway. All they need is a bike and a full tank of gas. Their only friend, the open road.
I have friends.
Well, he may have friends, but he rides alone.
That's Jeremy right there. We're literally riding together.
He gets touchy when you talk about his lack of friends.
Can you help me out here?
No matter why you ride, Progressive has you covered with protection starting at $79 a year.
Well, I wouldn't need friends, to be fair. And still.
At Dog Chow, we believe helping dogs live their best life should be simple. That's why Dog Chow is made with real chicken and no fillers. Purina Dog Chow. Keep life simple.
I'm so ashamed I overpaid for this used car. I've decided to go undercover. Guess I picked the wrong used car site.
Remember, if you don't see me, you're not seeing the most accurate price. Shop at Carfax. You won't have to overpay on a used car again.
Hey, Bob.
Oh, my. Hey, Beth. How we feeling?
Good.
Yep. Moving.
Shop millions of great deals, all with a free Carfax report. Only at the all-new Carfax.com.
Think wearing less makeup means no need for a wipe? Think again. Neutrogena Makeup Remover Wipes. Remove the 30% of makeup ordinary cleansers can leave behind. Your skin will thank you. Neutrogena. For people with skin.
Around here, they say if you don't like the weather, just wait a minute.
Get into the out there. The Weather Channel.
Welcome back to our continuing coverage of Tropical Storm Elsa. We're watching the Savannah area live right now. Worst of the very heavy rain has moved on from Savannah, but the implications from that heavy rain are still ongoing. We just talked with Charles Peak, who found a corridor, a street there with, 7, 8 cars stalled out in heavy rain. Still watching this camera bouncing around in the wind just a bit as we look out towards the bridge, but good visibility of that bridge compared to where we were when you could barely see anything at all. And so here's River Street again, and again, much better view of the area. We have, views of the building and the lights now, whereas an hour ago, we could not even see across the street. It was pouring that hard. So again, a lot better, things improving in the Savannah area, but it's not the only threat that we've been following. The rain is one thing, severe weather threat is another. Tornado watch continues until 5 a.m. And on this kind of fringe of the tornado watch area, away from the coast, we have a brand new tornado warning to tell you about. It's near Sylvania in Screven County. Radar indicated rotation here, and it's, on this mode of the radar, it doesn't look like much, right? Kind of a classic tropical tornado warning in that way. This is a supercell. It's all on its own in one of these bands, but you have to change the mode of the radar, and even at that, it's not the super strong red red-green couplet that you associate with severe season in the plains. Instead, it's the kind of reds and yellows switching over to the deep red to brown. And sometimes that's just enough. That's just enough rotation to suggest that we could have a tornado spinning up here. It's also pointed in the opposite direction than you would normally be seeing for storms generally in this part of the world because of our rotation around our area of low pressure from Elsa is going counterclockwise. This storm is moving this way towards Sylvania and across 301. Let's quickly just check and see if the radar is seeing anything being lofted into the air. No clear sign of any debris at this point. That is excellent news. But again, the potential is there for a tornado, and that's why that tornado warning was issued for that radar indicated spin. I can quickly show you the larger environment. Why are we seeing that chance for tornadoes when we have a tropical system moving through? Well, again, here's our low. The low is over here. The low-level winds rotating counterclockwise around that feature are coming in like this, backing their way towards our area of low pressure. But you go aloft and suddenly you've got this wind coming up out of the south, and that turn is enough. So with that in mind, we have some more tornadoes to tell you about right now. There's the Sylvania one, and let's go now into the South Carolina side, embedded within the severe thunderstorm warning that we've been tracking that had the chance of 80-mile-per-hour gusts. Now we have some rotating winds as well. So this over Beaufort and Jasper, there are several different spots in here that could have water spouts. Okay, this could be one or two or three, to tell you the truth. This may be one, and this I think is probably what's triggering the warning because we're getting towards land again. But any one of those points could be a water spout coming ashore, and then that would qualify as a tornado. Again, very classic presentation for these tropical induced tornadoes warnings, that you have a fleeting moment of rotation where in this case the greens are kind of merging to blue or the reds are merging to dark red. It's not a classic red-green couplet. That's just not how these often present themselves. Let's loop this for you just a bit so you can see the motion of that rotation, and we had that kind of working its way up from the south. So these are all moving inland, and so that's why this tornado warning has been issued. Tornado rotation potential as seen by the Doppler radar. You will not see this if you are in person, even if this were the middle of the afternoon. Those pinpoints, what was here, here, and here? Good luck. Embedded completely within the shroud of very heavy rains. And then on top of that, we have straight line winds blasting through this area that could be anywhere from 60 to close to 80 miles per hour. So there is no chance that you will see this with your naked eye. Please respect the warnings and put as many walls between you and the storm as possible. Remember, this is Hilton Head. Sea Pines is down here with those huge, huge pine trees all over. And then there's also a very, forested landscape across this portion of South Carolina. I know it's a coastal plain, but it doesn't mean it's all, sporadic palm trees. There are some big trees, and so tree damage and power line damage looking more and more likely. So again, a South Carolina tornado warning near Hilton Head and points just north, and a Georgia tornado warning near the Sylvania area. One more quick look at the rotation from there. Again, reds merging to the deep red, showing us that chance for a tornado. This one moving inland and towards 301. No sign of any debris as of last check, and still no sign at this point. So we can continue to make our way over towards the coast where we have a severe thunderstorm warning and this tornado warning. And again, this is Hilton Head right in here. That's Hilton Head Island. And so what we're watching are these little pinpricks of rotation that are now working their way on land. One is there, and a cluster of them still off the coast and moving in. As they continue to race their way inland, any one of those could give us a tornado, and that's why we've got that warning as issued by the local National Weather Service office. If you're in the Beaufort area, you got to monitor those. Let's hope that they don't hold together that far inland. Very often, these are kind of fleeting features that are there for a few moments and then gone. So not a guarantee that you won't get that tornado warning, tornado all the way into the Beaufort area, but let's hope that it falls apart before then. We'll give you updates on the storm coming back up right after this.
You guys got any signal?
I've only got one bar, Dad.
Experience hybrid performance that takes you further.
Anything? I've got nothing.
Perfect.
At the Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event. Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
Oh, are you using Liberty Mutual's coverage customizer tool? So you only pay for what you need.
Sorry?
Limo, you're an animal!
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Okay, everyone. Our mission is to provide complete balanced nutrition for strength and energy.
Ensure with 27 vitamins and minerals. Now introducing Ensure Complete with 30 grams of protein.
This is our shot. The COVID-19 vaccines are ready. And so is Walgreens, with pharmacy experts ready to make it easy for you to get it safely for free. Because this is our shot at getting back together.
Good morning.
More treatment.
We're going to try something different today.
Oh, it's so pretty.
Dogs bring out the good in us. Pedigree brings out the good in them.
There's an America we build and one we discover. One that's been tamed and one that's forever wild. But freedom means you don't have to choose just one adventure. You get both. Introducing the wildly civilized, all-new, 3-row Jeep Grand Cherokee L.
I love.
We are connected, engaged. From the moment we rise, we move, we adjust, we learn, explore, relax, and grow together. So we're ready to build a better tomorrow. Stay informed throughout your day with the Spectrum News app, exclusively for Spectrum customers.
Those beautiful Bush's baked beans. The delicious center of picnic table gravity that keeps the whole great barbecue universe spinning. Bush's makes the cookout
beautiful. Why O-Cedar? Because when I get home, we like to play crocodile on the floor.
O-Cedar Easy Ring removes over 99% of bacteria, even with just water. Easy and truly clean floors. O-Cedar, it feels great to feel at home.
I got an alert on my phone, and then all hell broke loose.
Oh, it was complete chaos. Go, go!
Mother Nature gives you a warning sign. Get ready for something big.
You just hang on for dear life and hope for the best.
A flash flood watch is in effect. Currently in our area, 84 degrees under clear skies. Tonight, partly cloudy. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. Low 75. Thursday, thunderstorms developing in the afternoon. High 85. Chance of rain 60%. Thursday night, showers and thunderstorms. Low 73. Rainfall may reach 1 inch. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Tropical systems can and often do spawn tornadoes. Tornado watch continues along portions of Georgia into the South Carolina coast until 5 a.m. But maybe more pressingly, tornado warnings have been issued. Want to get in first to the South Carolina coastline. This is a complex of thunderstorms that has been barreling northbound, looking at Hilton Head up through the Beaufort area of South Carolina. Very gusty winds for everyone within that thunderstorm complex, maybe up to close to 80 miles per hour. But there's also some rotation. Couple it right in this area where the kind of the blue-green is going towards the radar and the red is going away from the radar. So that's our counterclockwise spin right now. This was coming out of the Hilton Head Island area and kind of coming this way, and then it's going to curl its way a little bit more northbound and then northwest as the as it feels some of that low-level spin and flow around our area of low pressure. And so timing this out for you could clip the Beaufort area. I want to redraw this for you because I think I have a little bit of an incorrect direction. Let's kind of call it like this. And so heading towards Beaufort by, say, a little bit after midnight, on either side of midnight, that's when this rotation could be coming towards you if it holds together that long. I say if because sometimes these tropical-induced tornadoes have a real hard time once they get on land. It was okay near the airport. In fact, I can show you what it looked like near Hilton Head Island Airport. Right in there, that was probably our best couplet right here. The blues right next to that kind of deep green, almost red. Then stepping this forward, you can see that it came across the water, opened up a little bit. Now we've got that couplet that's right up against land again, right in here. And here's our most latest, that is our most latest scan, our latest scan. So reissuing this warning. So let's take a brand new update, brand new look at that warning as it's flashing for us. Now tornado warning until 12:15, continuing for Beaufort and Jasper. Believe it or not, it's not the only warning that we're following. We also have a tornado warning on the Georgia side, just west of the South Carolina border, right over the Sylvania area. This has been trimmed just a bit as our circulation, as seen by the Doppler radar system, continues to make its way westbound. That's right, moving generally east to west. Now, there's not that much to be seen here from this radar site with regards to rotation. It's kind of a wind shift, if you will, right in here where that kind of yellow to red switches to the deep red. Sometimes that's just enough to give us a tornado. This whole environment is suggestive of tornadoes because our area of low pressure is here. Low level winds coming in like this all the way up through, say, Hilton Head to Charleston. But the winds aloft at about a mile up are coming in more like this. And so that change with direction with height is enough to kick up some tornadoes. And I think that trend is going to continue over the next several hours with these little spin-up tornadoes across portions of the Georgia and South Carolina coast. You could make the argument that the most pressing of which is this one leaving Hilton Head Island and about to come through the rest of coastal South Carolina towards the Beaufort area. Tornado warning until 12:15. Embedded within very heavy rain. You'd never see this coming. Plus, it's nighttime. So please respect the warning. The lowest level of your building, putting as many walls between you and the storm as possible. If nothing else, Carl, we know that there's very gusty straight line winds here. That could be enough to take down trees. I wouldn't want to be on the second floor of my building right now with the giant trees that are featured in coastal portions of coastal South Carolina.
Yeah, this is the most active band that we've seen in a couple of hours now, and a whole slew of warnings associated with it. And we'll get back to that in just a moment. We want to take you into the Northeast and show you where we go from here. And you've got a warning here, tropical storm warnings extending all the way up now into the mid-Atlantic region as we're expecting a tropical storm in those areas. That's going to be coming through late tomorrow and then into early Friday. And then beyond that, racing out into the Canadian Maritimes. And so here you see the update as of the 11 p.m. advisory. Tropical storm warnings now up into the Chesapeake Bay, into the Delmarva, along the Tidewater, Virginia area. Much of eastern North Carolina. It's going to be a really gusty late day tomorrow in the Sounds and in the Outer Banks, and then also up into the Jersey Shore, expecting some very strong winds. So here's the model forecast. I'm going to step back just a couple of frames here, and we can look at where it is at 11 p.m. There's the system right there, the strong wind coming across Tidewater, Virginia, then moving across the bay day and the Delmarva overnight. By 8 o'clock in the morning, that low pressure center, that tropical storm, likely along the Jersey Shore. So some very strong wind coming into into Long Island through the morning, and then rapidly moving out into New England. 5 o'clock in the afternoon, probably north of Boston and going into down East Maine, and then beyond that, again, moving out into the Canadian Maritimes. There is going to be a pretty widespread flash flood threat, and the rain is going to go on pretty much all day in Raleigh tomorrow. So flash flood looms large there. Flash flood potential looms large there around the Triangle and up through southeast Virginia, as well as into parts of the mid-Atlantic region and the Northeast. Keep in mind, of course, that it doesn't take as much rain to get flooding in New York and Philly and D.C. because there is so much asphalt and concrete. And we're going to have much more on this dangerous storm coming up in just a few minutes.
With the Capital One Venture Card, you earn unlimited double miles everywhere.
But where can we use them?
You can use them on any travel purchase, not just some travel purchases.
Venture gets a gold star.
What's in your wallet?
Oh, this is a mouth-watering Marco's pizza. And this is a new build-your-own pizza bowl with no crust and up to 4 toppings for $7.99. Oh, yeah, that looks good. Marco's, pizza lovers get it.
Make more summer fun for less at Target.
Live it up, live it up.
Okay, at AT&T, everyone gets our best deals on all smartphones.
Let me break it down. You got your new customers.
They get our best deals.
You got your existing customers. They
Also get our best deals.
Everyone gets the deals. Questions?
Got it. But why did you use a permanent marker?
Because I want to make sure you remember. I'm going to get a new whiteboard.
It's not complicated. Only AT&T gives everyone our best deals on every smartphone, like the Samsung Galaxy S21 5G for free.
We've never been so ready to get back out there. And with Copper Tone Sport, we can reclaim the boulders, the backwoods, and the breakers. Copper Tone Sport. Find your sun.
Return to rugged. The all-new, ruggedly redesigned 2022 Nissan Pathfinder.
You never call, baby.
Daydreaming again? But I love you still.
You know I'm driving, right?
At Napa, we keep things moving. If it has wheels and an engine, we help keep it on the road. And if it's on the road, we have parts for it. And if you need a part, you can get it fast. At Napa, when we're not thinking about cars, we're thinking about the people who drive them. Because when it comes to serving you and our community, our motor never quits.
Welcome back to our coverage of Tropical Storm Elsa. We are watching what is now a very dangerous situation as there are a number of warnings in effect, tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warning as well for 80-mile-per-hour winds in coastal South Carolina. Let's get right down and show you the latest on those warnings. That tornado warning in effect for Beaufort County and Jasper County going until 12:15, and we're watching an area of rotation that is near Beaufort right now, sitting about right in there and moving towards the north-northwest at 40 miles per hour. It's not quite as well formed as it was moments ago, but that coming up towards, that's going to be in Port Royal right now, and then moving into Burton beyond that, Grays Hill and Coosaw beyond that. So a possible tornado coming your way, but again, that circulation not quite as well formed as it was moments ago. But you look farther south here, and there's another circulation that is showing up on Pritchard's Island right there. This is Harbor Island, Hunting Island. You've got Fripp right in there, and and there you get into Frogmore and Beaufort, and you've got another rotation right there that is not being warned on, actually just sitting outside of that polygon. Another rotation there, and some other areas that look like they might rotate as well. So that is the nature of storms like this in a tropical cyclone. You tend to get little areas of spin developing that are very fleeting in nature. They tend not to last very long, but certainly there could be serious tornadoes. We've seen that already today. And then along the leading edge of this big thunderstorm here, it's interesting because the tornadoes themselves have been moving more towards the north, but the leading edge of this big band is now moving off towards the northeast. And along with that, there is a threat for 80-mile-per-hour winds. We actually got a report of 80-mile-per-hour wind on Hilton Head Island, and that is going to be coming into Chisholm and near the top of the hour. Wiggins 12:08, and then Edisto Beach here at 12:16. So Chisholm right now, I should say, and coming into Edisto Beach at 12:16. Very strong wind headed your way, and that is now just off to the southwest of Harbor Island, which is right in there. Some very strong wind and very heavy rain now moving in, and this is pretty typical in a tropical storm because you've got really strong wind aloft, and when you get a thunderstorm like that, you can bring that down to the ground. We did have a tornado warning that was also in Georgia. That has been allowed to expire, but you've got an atmosphere that is favorable for tornadoes because the winds are coming out of different directions at different levels of the atmosphere, out of the east, southeast at the surface, and out of the south at about 5,000 feet up, and that turning of the winds creates a spin when the storms are strong enough, and we're certainly seeing that now coming into areas between Savannah and Charleston. So there is a tornado watch that is going until 5 o'clock in the morning across 95 into southern parts of South Carolina and also into parts of Georgia as well. Another big story tonight has been the really heavy rain with this storm. That is a huge area of 3 to 5 inches of rain from Hilton Head on southward right down into Brunswick. We're going to see a lot more of that tonight. We'll see the ongoing tornado threat, the ongoing heavy rain threat. There you see the storms coming into Charleston as well as into Columbia. That continues to lift up 2 to 4 o'clock in the morning in Charleston, then into Cape Fear, into Wilmington tomorrow morning. Want you to pay attention to Raleigh. If you're in the Triangle or in Fayetteville, it is going to rain for a lot of the day tomorrow because you're going to get right through the core of that storm. So it starts in the morning, continues through the middle of the day tomorrow. We see rain also in the Sounds and the Outer Banks, and then even through the afternoon, and then finally begins to move out about 5, 6 o'clock in the evening. And then here you see that heavy rain coming up into the Delmarva tomorrow and into Philadelphia and into New York as well. So in those areas, there is going to be a flash flood threat with that heavy rain coming through. That is going to be through the afternoon primarily as the storm continues to lift off to the north. So a lot going on with this thing. We're a long way from being over with it, Mark. We've got plenty more to be concerned about. And, you know, you see how they sort of wax and wane in intensity. We went for a couple of hours without much going on, and now suddenly we're into a whole series of warnings.
Yeah, and that is pretty typical with these tropical systems as well. It's now getting into that environment that's much more favorable for spin, and so we're seeing the spin kicking up. And we had a different round of that earlier today. Tornadoes blamed for the first U.S.-related Elsa death in the U.S. The strong winds knocked down a tree in Jacksonville, Florida this afternoon that fell on 2 cars and killed 1 person. Meteorologist Tevin Wooten is in Jacksonville where some of those tornadoes came through. He's got more information on the damage there.
Well, as Elsa pulls out, we've been left with a slew of damage across the county. I'm meteorologist Tevin Wooten in Duval County, Florida. Downtown Jacksonville right behind me, and so is the St. Johns River, which is much calmer than it was earlier today. We picked up close to 2.5 inches of rainfall. Still a little bit more to go as we go throughout the evening hours today. And speaking of earlier today, what did we see from Tropical Storm Elsa? Anytime you get a hurricane or a tropical storm even, you always get strong feeder bands or outer rainfall bands that not only produce heavy rainfall, but produce strong squalls of winds as well. We've seen winds between 40 and 50 miles per hour, and look at what it did in terms of damage. Right around 3 o'clock, when the first squall came through, we actually saw trees come down in one neighborhood near Roosevelt Boulevard. Unfortunately, that tree fell on 2 cars, and 1 person died as a result of that tree falling down. And then around the 5 o'clock hour came the second squall line. This was much stronger, contained winds between 40 and 55 miles per hour for some of the strongest gusts, and also a tornado warning storm at that continue from Fruit Cove and points towards the north and northeast into southeastern Georgia. Out of that tornado warning storm, yes, we saw damaging winds, we saw heavy rainfall, and we also saw this, trees that came down near University Boulevard and portions of I-95. The trees came down, siding strewn about as well throughout several apartment complexes, and even some roofing too. That's just several different sites that we saw throughout portions of northeastern Florida and Jacksonville. First responders and the Jacksonville Fire and Rescue Department still urging residents to stay where they are. Don't necessarily try to get out right now because they've got to clear the debris off the roadway such that things will be easier to pass into tonight and tomorrow. That's the latest here from Jacksonville. I'm meteorologist Tevin Wooten, the Weather Channel.
Thanks, Tevin, for that report. And we have some new information about a tornado that came through Georgia, touched down at the Naval Submarine Base Kings Bay in Georgia. There are reports of multiple injuries, many taken to medical facilities for treatment, as several RVs in the RV park on the base were damaged, and that's where some of the injuries occurred. There are also reports of damage to buildings on the installation, and of course that tornado tied to the circulation from Elsa as it moved through the area. And it's the same complex of storms that continues to move north through Savannah and Tybee earlier, now through Hilton Head and the Beaufort region. Speaking of, this is some video from Tybee Island as those storms came through. Gosh, it was really raining. You had some lightning. In fact, there were reports from the Lightning Detection Network of, upwards of 60 to 70 lightning strikes in a 15-minute period right over Tybee. That's a lot of lightning over a relatively small island. It was pretty constant out there, and gosh, you can just see the sheets of rain there going sideways across the street there and over the building. The lights of the island-style shop really illuminating that rain blasting forward. Also, we've got some video from the Savannah area. Check out the rain here. I mean, it's just pouring like a wave over that parked car. So if you look at the lower left part of your screen, underneath that street light, the rain is hitting the side of the car and then getting swept up and over like a breaking wave from the ocean. That is wild, seeing that amount of water that quickly. That's how so many drivers in the Savannah area got themselves into trouble earlier this evening when the rainfall rates were like this. Had a couple of streets that really filled up in a big way, and Charles Peak was in the area, said he saw 7 or 8 cars stalled out in that high water. Rescue crews, police vehicles, and fire crews were nearby, roped off the main access to the street, but there were still side roads where people were still trying to come back through, and a couple then went through the water. Crazy when that can happen. Want to give you an update on where that nasty line of storms is right now and where the severe weather threat is. We've got a tornado watch that continues until 5 a.m. This is the Georgia side. This is the South Carolina side. And, in particular, we're looking at this zone of a tornado warning over portions of Beaufort and Jasper. Remember, Hilton Head Island is right here. Beaufort is right up here. And we have a storm that basically started near Hilton Head Island Airport and is then moving north, maybe a little bit of a northeast component at times, and you can make the argument that the straight line doesn't do it. It was kind of doing something more like this, kind of bending its way through, which makes sense considering the counterclockwise flow around our storm. The good news here is that that couplet looks much less pronounced. In fact, the warning just expired, so it's not going to drop off from our graphic system because it was close to that kind of expiration time. But check this out as we roll this back. Look at this. This is our couplet coming from Hilton Head Island. So it was here where the red-green couplet is, kind of blue to deep green. That's what we're looking at in this tropical-induced tornado warning. Move that forward, and then it was here. We can move that forward again, started moving more north towards the Beaufort area, and then finally opening up as it was approaching Beaufort itself and really fizzling out. That is excellent news. Looking down the line, as we look off the coast a bit, there's another couple of these, one here and one here, that are looking a little bit more organized. It's easier over the water. Sometimes these get right to land and then fizzle out. Sometimes they make it a little bit inland, as you saw with that couplet that we just analyzed going from Hilton Head Airport towards the Beaufort area. But those are ones that we'll need to watch. And then approaching the Edisto Beach area. Also, don't forget, we've got this whole area of yellow outlined. That is a severe thunderstorm warning. That complex is going this way with as much as 80-mile-per-hour winds with it. So, Carl, the Edisto Beach area could see that part of the story slam into them, maybe 80-mile-per-hour winds on the way.
Yeah, and a lot of very heavy rain on top of that, and that has been one of the huge stories for tonight. Here you see the live look at what's going on in Savannah, Georgia, as there is a road that has been closed due to water across it, and Charles Peak showing us earlier a number of cars that had stalled out, folks who had driven into high water there, as we had rainfall rates of 2 to 3 inches per hour coming across Savannah. It has thinned out considerably, but that is what you expect with a tropical storm. Notice that you've got this spin that is coming up across North Florida right now and moving into eastern parts of Georgia, and now, was coming across North Florida earlier today, and moving right up the 95 corridor, and just this big swirling mass of rain with very high rainfall rates. And so large areas getting more than 3 inches of rain today, 3 to 4 to 5 inches of rain southeast Georgia, Brunswick into Jekyll Island there, and then up the coast into Savannah as well. There's a closer look at what's happened in the last 6 hours. And so from Savannah on eastward to Hilton Head, that is a really sizable area that has gotten more than 3 inches of rain. And when you get that kind of a rainfall in a short period of time, you're going to end up getting flash flooding. So there's the leading edge of that main band of rain that is producing the severe weather threat and the tornado threat as well. That coming towards Walterboro. It's going to be moving up into Somerville and into Charleston. A lot of concern about what's going to be happening in Charleston overnight tonight. There is where flash flooding is likely through the overnight and into tomorrow morning in southeastern South Carolina. And then here you see the rain still to come. Model indicating we've got a pretty widespread area of 3 inches plus of rain there in southeastern South Carolina. So this massive rain coming up into Charleston in short order. It's going to be going on through 2 to 3 o'clock in the morning, then beginning to wind down in Charleston at about 4 o'clock in the morning, moving up then into Cape Fear and Wilmington tomorrow morning. And it is going to be a very wet day in Raleigh, North Carolina tomorrow. Mark, rain coming down for most of the day in Raleigh.
And let's continue the story from there, right? Let's follow that same storm, Elsa, all the way into the northeast. How much of the D.C. metro area will see very heavy rain? Certainly the east side of the D.C. metro. And then you go up towards New York. New York is going to see some very heavy rain. Friday morning's commute in New York City looks horrible. There's no other way to put it. It is going to be pouring the entire window of your morning commute. Afternoon commute looks fine. So if you can somehow work from home still for Friday, or maybe delay your trip into the city, I think that'll help you out a lot. Here's the rest of that cone. It'll be passing through or near the Jersey Shore early Friday, right over New York City Friday morning, Boston Friday afternoon, coastal Maine by Friday evening, and then finally exiting through southeast Canada and into the Canadian Maritimes. And good riddance, because we've been following Elsa for forever. Now, we've got an area of moisture that's going to be pulled in by this tropical storm and by the circulation around it. A very efficient positioning to actually tap into that deep tropical moisture and throw it back towards the I-95 corridor. I think we're going to see some pretty hefty rainfall rates. It might not be raining long in any one location because this upper level low is swinging in. That upper level trough anyway is coming in, and that's going to really accelerate the forward speed. So let's hope that, we kick this forward pretty quickly. But here's Atlantic City. We'll watch Thursday morning and Thursday afternoon, a couple of showers arriving. It's really Thursday evening with the first batch, and then overnight, boom, it starts pouring on you, and it continues overnight all the way up through the morning commute time, but it starts to get better. Now, that's Atlantic City, but let's go to New York City. New York City, overnight tonight, we've had storms north of town. We'll have another round of that for Thursday afternoon and Thursday evening. Look what happens Thursday overnight into Friday morning. Here's 5 a.m. In the Big Apple. 6, 7, 8, still pouring. It doesn't clear out till, say, 2 or 3. So again, the drive home. looks much better. We'll be right back.
When it comes to laundry, everyone thinks their way is the right way.
I wash on delicate.
I just stuff everything in.
You have to wash on cold because it saves energy.
Secret is, Tide Pods work no matter how you wash, so everyone is right. It's got to be Tide.
Domino's is testing driverless delivery powered by Neuro, and it's got someone back to their old habits. Avoid the Noid when you get any 2 or more medium 2-topping Domino's pizzas delivered for just $5.99 each.
We've never been so ready to get back out there. And with Copper Tone Sport, we can reclaim the boulders, the backwoods, and the breakers. Copper Tone Sport. Find your sun.
Hi, Verizon launched the first 5G network, and now we want to be the first to give everyone the joy of 5G by giving every customer a new 5G phone on us. Old customers, new customers, families, businesses, in-laws, law firms, every customer. New 5G phones when you trade in your old ones. And if you're not a customer, we'll help cover the cost to switch. Just ask Wanda. She's been with us since now. Upgrade your phone, upgrade your network.
Good morning.
More treatment.
We're going to try something different today.
Oh, it's so pretty.
Dogs bring out the good in us. Pedigree brings out the good in them.
And Doug.
So then I said to him, customize your car insurance with Liberty Mutual, so you only pay for what you need.
Doug, can we talk about something other than work? It's the weekend.
Yeah. Hot dog or chicken?
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
No one likes to choose between safe or sporty, modern or reliable. We want both. We want a hybrid. So do banks. That's why they're going hybrid with IBM. A hybrid cloud approach helps them personalize experiences with Watson AI while helping keep data secure. From banking to manufacturing, businesses are going with a smarter hybrid cloud, using the tools, platform, and expertise of IBM.
Attention runners, report to the starting line. Runners, report to the starter.
You don't become a runner who breaks 8 world records after age 65 without a serious support system. Kathy Martin has one in Medicare from Blue Cross Blue Shield. She won't go a day without the right card because she can't go a day without running. The Medicare coverage trusted by more doctors. This is the benefit of Blue. Learn more at benefitofblue.com.
93 warmer days, promising new adventure and views that never get old. Your favorite season starts now. Summer on. Receive a credit of up to $3,500 through August 2nd.
Better sleep means a better you. Mattress Firm's Rest Assured Promise guarantees you'll find your perfect bed from America's best brands. Save $500 on Tempur-Breeze mattresses and sleep 8 degrees cooler. Plus, get a $300 instant gift. Only at Mattress Firm.
If it hurts when you poop sometimes, like pinching off a porcupine, you're sweating, you're next trip to the loo. Colace is the brand you need to soften stools, we're all agreed. Number 2 should be easy to do.
Trust Colace to soften stools with no stimulants for comfortable relief.
A flash flood watch is in effect. Currently in our area, 84 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Tonight, partly cloudy. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. Low 75. Thursday, thunderstorms developing in the afternoon. High 85. Chance of rain 60%. Thursday night, showers and thunder showers likely. Low 73. Rainfall may reach 1 inch. Here's our 7-day outlook.
It seemed like a normal day.
I looked up at the sky and I seen the darkness coming.
I got an alert on my phone, and then all hell broke loose.
It was complete chaos.
There's no way you can outrun it.
If Mother Nature gives you a warning sign, get ready for something big.
I have never seen anything like that.
I had no idea what had just happened.
You just hang on for dear life and hope for the best.
Welcome back to our coverage of Tropical Storm Elsa, which made landfall around 11 a.m. in Taylor County in Florida. And that was the scene just south of there in Cedar Key. Churning waves there in the Gulf of Mexico, and you can see it splashing up over the berm there. It certainly was a little bit of a flooding situation along the coast. Not widespread major flood, but there was some minor coastal flooding and then an angry Gulf of Mexico on top of that. Winds gusting to about 65 miles per hour, and we had some tornadoes today, including a pretty serious one outside of Jacksonville. And here is a live look at Savannah, Georgia. The rain has been very intense tonight. Live pictures from Charles Peak. We've seen a number of people actually getting stuck in high water, and looks like a lot of that is now beginning to recede. So we've got a band that's coming through, and along with it, 2 to 3 inch per hour rainfall rates on the high end, and there is a severe threat as well. Let's tell you about this severe thunderstorm warning that is ongoing right now, and that is for Beaufort, Colleton, and Jasper counties. Leading edge of this storm is now just about out of that polygon. Let's see if they are going to issue a downstream warning, but we've been looking at the potential for 80 mile per hour wind, that coming into Edisto Beach, assuming that we get another warning here coming towards Edisto and Little Edisto and Fenwick as well. So, you know, just some really strong winds. We actually got some ground truth to that. There was a report of 80 mile per hour winds on Hilton Head Island, and just incredibly torrential rain as well. And so certainly there's going to be a flash flood threat as that comes through. Now, another thing we've been watching is some little circulations. The radar is in kind of a strange mode right now, but there's one of these more profound circulations just offshore. It's not being warned on right now, but as you look at this area here, we've got there is Beaufort, and then Frogmore and Harbor Island, Hunting Island right there. And there is a lighthouse on Hunting Island that you can climb to the top of. How'd you like to be at the top of that right now with that big circulation passing just off to your east? I bet that would be kind of a wild ride up there, probably pretty scary. But again, no tornado warning on that right now, but we'll see if that changes. We just did have a tornado warning moments ago for Beaufort, and there is a tornado watch that is going until 5 o'clock in the morning for southern parts of South Carolina and also eastern Georgia. Another big part of this has been the rain. This is a massive rainmaker that's been going on all day long. Widespread areas of 3 to 4 to 5 inches of rain, with some spots getting more than 8 inches. In southeast Georgia in particular. That's where we've seen just a lot of heavy rain. We had a flash flood emergency earlier today, and or at least one with a considerable threat earlier today. And here you see that big area of heavy rain that is coming up into Walterboro, moving towards Somerville and Charleston. That is going to be coming through probably inside of an hour, and then more rain beyond that. So really it's going to be 1 to 2 to 3 o'clock in the morning. Then it begins to taper off after that. But certainly there's going to be an ongoing flash flood threat there in southeast South Carolina as well as eastern Georgia. And the heaviest of rain really centered on Charleston, and you'll have winds also driving into the coastline there. And so right as the water is trying to run back out, and we've had a long history of having issues with that in Charleston, right as the water is trying to run back out, we're going to see water getting a little bit higher, most likely along the coast, with the wind driving it in. So winds now gusting to 32 in Savannah, and they'll be picking up in Charleston. That onshore flow will be increasing right as that band is coming through. And so certainly there could be some high water in and around Charleston through the overnight hours tonight. Mark, over to you.
And Carl, we want to take a look now live again with Charles Peak Storm Tracker for us into the Savannah area. Look at this. Giant tree from the left side of your screen fell, pulled up the sidewalk, it looks like, from the root ball, split and landed on this vehicle. I mean, that's why we tell you that the threat of falling trees is so dangerous in even tropical storms, heavy rain, gusty winds, severe thunderstorms. You had it all around the Savannah area. Charles, want to bring you back in with us. We got a minute left or so till we go to break, but set the scene for us. What did you come upon here?
Yeah, this car obviously don't think it intended to have a tree on top of it tonight. But,
probably not.
It looks like the sidewalk, the ground underneath it, and possibly even maybe a little rotten in the root base, but enough wind that lifted up the concrete base and down on the car here.
Bad placement for the parked vehicle, I suppose. But we knew tree damage was going to be a problem. We also knew that flooding would be a problem. We were talking with you about in a half hour ago or so with all those cars stuck in the water. Any updates from that scene?
Talked to several of the people that did, and, they just didn't realize it was raining hard. They couldn't see how deep it was until it was too late. But a real neat couple with a house right there by it is taking about 7 people in and taking care of them tonight.
People taking care of others. Gotta love to see that. Charles Peak, thanks so much. Also want to update everyone on a brand new tornado warning that has popped up once again in that same complex of thunderstorms that was exiting Hilton Head, going through Beaufort. It's still Beaufort County, also into Colleton. Tornado warning until 1 a.m. We'll give you an update on this in just a bit.
There's an America we build and one we discover. One that's been tamed and one that's forever wild. But freedom means you don't have to choose just one adventure. You get both. Introducing the wildly civilized, all-new 3-row Jeep Grand Cherokee L.
Asking what would Pop-Tarts do is how you get from toast and jam to that's my jam. From Sunday to Sunday. So, what would Pop-Tarts do here? Yeah, that feels right. Crazy good.
Make more summer fun for less at Target.
Experience Makita's cordless outdoor power equipment. The mower cuts non-stop for up to 2 miles. Get unstoppable power without the hassles of gas. Now, get 2 extra free batteries.
This is where legends are made. That's the NBA Finals. That's game.
Return to rugged. The all-new, ruggedly redesigned 2022 Nissan Pathfinder.
Did you know diarrhea is often caused by bad bacteria in food? Try Pepto Diarrhea. Its concentrated formula coats and kills bacteria to relieve diarrhea. See, Pepto Diarrhea gets to the source, killing the bad bacteria. So make sure to have Pepto Diarrhea on hand.
Ladies, check it out. So strong, so not ripped.
What are we talking about?
That's the Hefty Ultra Strong bag.
Hefty, hefty, hefty.
Give me the bag.
Get Hefty Ultra Strong at a low price.
We've never been so ready to get back out there. And with Copper Tone Sport, we can reclaim the boulders, the backwoods, and the breakers. Copper Tone Sport. Find your sign.
You never call, baby.
Daydreaming again? But I love you still.
You know I'm driving, right?
Even as the world opens back up, some social distancing is still highly recommended. Get into the out there. The Weather Channel.
Welcome back to our coverage of Tropical Storm Elsa. We are looking at a new tornado warning now in Beaufort and Colleton counties. This is about halfway between Charleston and Savannah in South Carolina, and a radar indicated tornado warning. So a couple of circulations. One of those is now right, at least at the last radar scan, was right over Hunting Island and Harbor Island, a place that I have stayed many, many times. A beautiful area. I hope nothing's going on there, but certainly there's this threat for a possible tornado, and that's going to come out then into the Harbor River and perhaps towards Ashepoo Siding in the longer term if it does hold together. These things tend to be very fleeting in nature. They tend to not last very long at all, but certainly you can get tornadoes, and you can see very robust circulations developing for short periods of time. Here's another tornado warning within the same area, or rather another couplet within the same tornado warning, and that coming towards Hickory Hill and also towards Ashepoo Crossing and into Hendersonville at about 12:56. And we just got a brand new scan on the radar. Let's take a look at that. And so already, just as I was saying, already those areas, at least the one to the south, is not as pronounced. You can go back just one scan here, and you can see right in there, pretty tight little area of rotation. Very next scan, it has broadened out some. It's not nearly as well defined. But that having been said, a little bit tighter in here, that little feature actually has tightened up a little bit. So that could very well be a tornado or a water spout. I'm not sure if that's it. Looks like that might be in the intertidal area. So once again, let's track that forward, and that coming towards Hickory Hill right about now. Very tight little circulation, could very well be a tornado, and then moving towards Ashepoo Crossing and also towards Blue House Corners beyond that. Now, as we expand the picture out, you notice that there are a lot of little areas that look sort of like dimples in there. That's not surprising. There are many, many storms that are showing some level of rotation, and not surprising at all. You've got a landfalling tropical storm, and you've got winds coming out of different directions in the lowest levels of the atmosphere from the surface up to 5,000 feet. That turning of the winds and also an increase in wind speed lends itself to spinning in the atmosphere, which then gets into these storms, and that's the beginning of the process that leads us to tornadoes. So tornado watch in effect until 5 o'clock in the morning for southern parts of South Carolina and also for Georgia. Another huge threat tonight is the heavy rain. There you see this big swirl, this big mass of rain that has come up across southeast Georgia and South Carolina, and that threat moving into Charleston over the next few hours here. Mark, over to you.
Yeah, and speaking of that flooding, I want to go through some of the new video that we've seen of heavy rain leading to flooding. This was from the Brunswick area earlier today. Brunswick had a flash flood warning because of this heavy rain, and we really saw the water piling up on some of the streets, as you can see here, right up against people's homes. Hopefully no significant structure damage, but it was real close. And if it was one of those situations that it was so close that if a car then came through and drove down the street, that may have been the proverbial straw, that, you know, the wake from the car was then enough to push water into the buildings, like maybe what that police vehicle is doing right then. It's as if I ordered that up. Sorry, everybody. Hopefully that wave did not then push water into your building. Now, let's talk about where the heavy rain is right now and where the flood threat is ongoing. We'll start off by looking at the current position of our tropical storm. Tropical storm Elsa continuing to move north-northeast, close to, 16 miles per hour now. This is the big blowup of heavy rain that we're watching near the South Carolina coast, and where we also have the embedded severe weather, including the tornado warning that Carl was just showing us. Big complex of thunderstorms in there. There is the curl of very heavy rainfall that is working up the South Carolina coast. But it didn't just go through South Carolina. Going back here, throughout the day, we watched that same cluster of storms, more or less, being fed by the tropical waters of the Atlantic. But you can just walk all the way up the coastline, widespread 3 to 5 inch rains, some areas overachieving even from that. And then we can go even more recently, just the past 3 hours. Look at this. This is all within the past 3 hours. This is all that complex that is bringing us the current tornado warnings that Carl was just showing us. Very heavy rain, so the chance for flooding continues across that area. It's why tonight through tomorrow morning, not only possible, but likely that we could see more flooding for the South Carolina coastline. That's through the rest of the night. For tomorrow, we follow that circulation farther north, and we could see more flooding for the mid-Atlantic states, and even continuing north from there as we go towards Friday, an isolated chance for flooding. This is a look at how much rain is still on the way.
Oh, this is a mouth-watering Marco's pizza. And this is a new build-your-own-pizza bowl with no crust and up to 4 toppings for $7.99. Oh, yeah, that looks good. Marco's, pizza lovers get it.
Today's forecast calls for pizza with a sprinkling of cheesy bread. Marco's, pizza lovers get it.
This is where legends are made. That's the NBA Finals. That's game.
Jake from State Farm. I would like to formally extend my gratitude for the Russell rate on my insurance.
Do you mean surprisingly great rates from State Farm?
I don't believe in accepting help, but I'll make an exception.
Here's the deal, Russell. There's no special rate. These prices are for everyone.
With the oak and the eagle as witness, consider us square. I made that from memory. I know your face that well.
When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Ladies, check it out. So strong, so not ripped.
What are we talking about?
That's the Hefty Ultra Strong bag.
Hefty, hefty, hefty.
Give me the bag.
Get Hefty Ultra Strong at a low price.
We have to be able to repair the enamel on a daily basis. With Pro Enamel Repair Toothpaste, we can help actively repair enamel in its weakened state. It's innovative. My go-to toothpaste is going to be Pro Enamel Repair.
Life's kind of unpredictable. Like when your groceries arrive, the moment you remember everything you forgot. Or when your kid says, "There's a big so at school tomorrow." Tomorrow? Or when you discover art couture is a thing you have to try, like now. Or when you could go to the store, but you also need to walk the dog, pack the lunches, and, oh yeah, take the kids to school. You have children! For anything today brings, fresh groceries and more, free same-day delivery. Walmart Plus.
Get more out of summer with savings on appliances for every function, style, and finish during the Home Depot's 4th of July savings. Save on appliances like this Samsung kitchen suite. The Home Depot. How doers get more done.
You guys got any signal?
I've only got one bar, Dad.
Experience hybrid performance that takes you further.
Anything? I've got nothing.
Perfect. At the Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event. Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
So now Dish allows you to access your Google Nest Hello doorbell from your TV, which means no more pausing your show for some lame delivery that's like not even for you. Or Mike Gardner here for your first date.
Wait, what time is it? No, he's here early. He can't see me like this. What do? Mom!
Always know who's at your door right from your TV.
I'm in, but stall.
View your Google Nest Hello doorbell on your TV with Dish. Tuned in to you.
Mother Nature gives you a warning sign. Get ready for something big.
Tropical systems often do produce tornadoes, and we're seeing that threat continuing right now. Tornado watch through the rest of the overnight hours until 5 a.m. So that's the area that tornadoes are possible, but they are happening. At least there's a chance of imminent tornadoes happening in this tornado warning. Portions of Beaufort and Colleton counties, including Hendersonville, a couple of spots of radar-indicated spin. This tornado warning goes until the top of the hour, 1 a.m., so about 20 more minutes. And again, there are several areas that we're watching. One that's right in here, and another one right back here. And you could make the argument that there are several more waiting down the line off the coast still and behind our banner. So that will be coming in onshore at some point if they hold in their current trajectory. So timing out those two areas of better spin, this one's still over water, but could be coming towards Bennett's Point, Ashpoo Siding, and Ashpoo with the timing over the next 20 minutes or so for those cities. First, Bennett's Point by 12:43. The other couplet looks a little bit better. This one a little bit tighter, a slightly better chance of actually having a tornado with that one, at least right now. And so Hickory Hill, since you're first in line, this is a dangerous storm for you. And if you're not in Hickory Hill, but you're just east from there along 17, that timing is about the same, somewhere near 12:40 or so, so about 5 minutes from now. Actually, within the next 3 to 5 minutes, it will be in your area. And then Ashpoo Crossing by 12:50, called out again. Blue House Corners by about 12:50 as well. While we're here, I want to take a look at the correlation coefficient, which is also sometimes called the debris tracker, just to see if there was anything in that area that was being lofted up. It does not appear so at the moment. A questionable zone up here for sure. Let's take a look at the traditional mode of the radar to see what's there, and the answer is nothing. You see how we have this little hole right there where we don't have any returns on the radar? Well, if there's nothing for the radar to bounce off of, there won't be a correlation there. So that makes sense as to why we're seeing that drop off. That's good news. That is not debris. That is just something wonky with those returns in there. I'm sure it is raining, but the radar beam, for whatever reason, isn't seeing it. So again, we've got this warning that continues until 1 a.m. Reissued, extended, whatever the wording is, confirmed that we still have this threat by the National Weather Service office. That kind of update on this warning came through in the past couple of moments. And so both those areas with potential spin heading inland goes until 1 a.m. The atmosphere is really conducive to seeing this spin over the next several hours. We've got our area of low pressure from Elsa centered back here. Look at this flow coming in from the Atlantic and wrapping back in. So our low level flow looks like that, while our upper level flow looks more like this. And so that is a pronounced change with height, especially in this area where we have a 90-degree or more turn with height, and within only a mile, right? Those red lines I drew, that's about 5,000 feet up, a mile or so up in the atmosphere. So the lowest level of our atmosphere, and seeing enough turn to support more tornadoes. It's why the Storm Prediction Center said it was a possibility that we would see tornadoes, and why our Torcon values are at a 3 out of 10. We have a history of this already today. Several tornado reports from earlier today down towards Florida. We had one near I-10, one come across the south side of Jacksonville, one in southeast Georgia, and then a couple of questionable storms more recently towards that kind of Savannah to Hilton Head area. So that we'll have to just wait. We'll have to wait and see what the National Weather Service survey teams say for the storms to the north. No storm reports came out about them yet, Carl, but there's certainly an area or two where there was tree damage co-located with at least some spin on radar. So there's a chance that we had some other tornadoes up that I-95 corridor earlier today.
Yeah, we saw an amazing video earlier also of one of those tornadoes, just a large, almost wedge-like tornado outside of Jacksonville. Well, that tornado threat will continue tomorrow, as will the heavy rainfall threat. It's going to move right up the coast. There you see D.C. on the left and New York on the right. Both of those cities could be in for flash flooding and gustier wind on the coast in particular. So the southeastern part of the Chesapeake Bay, the Delmarva, as well as the Jersey Shore, Long Island. Those are the areas that are going to be in for a strong wind tomorrow. Let's show you the model forecast and show you the system. There's the center of circulation right there. Bands of rain being driven in through the day tomorrow. So a lot of heavy rain in Raleigh. That's going to go on really for most of the day tomorrow. Heavy rain coming up into Richmond into the evening, moving up and across the Delmarva overnight, just outside of D.C. Early Friday morning, heavy rain sitting on Philadelphia and coming into northern Jersey and New York. And then that'll go on for a few hours, and then it's going to begin to move out and up into the northeast after that. Now, wanted to show you very quickly what's going on with the flash flood guidance in the Northeast. And so what this is showing us is the amount of rain that would be necessary to produce flooding in the Northeast. And as you know, there's an awful lot of concrete and asphalt in New York City. And so when you look at a lot of areas of northeastern Jersey, from Patterson down to Edison and just west of Manhattan, many areas looking at between 1 and 2 inches in 1 hour to cause flash flooding. And when we watch that big band of heavy rain come up and across New York City early Friday morning, we could be looking at 1 to 2 inches per hour. So, you know, the urban nature of the landscape adds to that flood threat. So there are flood watches in New York City, down through New Jersey, southeastern Pennsylvania, including Philadelphia, the Delmarva, just outside of D.C. into southern Maryland, and then down through southeast Virginia and central North Carolina.
Kleenex Ultra Soft Tissues. 3 layers strong for sneezes, smudges, and everything in between. Kleenex, for all the moments. A portion of every purchase is donated to students in need.
Looked bigger online. Someday, we'll find the right trip.
Seize your someday today with Travelocity.
Get the right information so you can book confidently.
Travelocity. Seize your someday.
If Nathan Adrian backed down from a cancer diagnosis, he wouldn't be back on the world stage, continuing to train, fighting to win. That's the fighting spirit. That's what makes a lion. Modelo, root for those with a fighting spirit.
Bit of smile. We've never been so ready to get back out there. And with Copper Tone Sport, we can reclaim the boulders, the backwoods, and the breakers. Copper Tone Sport. Find your sun.
DiGiorno has 7 delicious crusts, and your family food critics will rave. Croissant crust is flaky layers of buttery bliss. Rising crust is fresh baked deliciousness. There's a 5-star pizza for everyone in your family to love. It's not delivery, it's DiGiorno.
Ladies, check it out. So strong, so not ripped.
What are we talking about?
That's the Hefty Ultra Strong bag.
Hefty, hefty, hefty.
Give me the bag.
Get Hefty Ultra Strong at a low price.
Welcome to the new tomorrow, where it's not enough to do it alone. And working together means going all in. To move forward takes a different kind of technology partner. One who's always in your corner and who understands that shared goals are the only ones that matter. And providing that kind of partnership is what we're built to do. Spectrum Enterprise.
Mattress Firm's 4th of July sale has been extended. Hurry in and get a king bed for the price of a queen or a queen for a twin. Plus, get a free adjustable base with qualifying Sealy purchase. Only at Mattress Firm.
This new floor was a good idea.
LL Flooring did it right.
I love you, Steve.
I love you too, Steve.
We can talk more about the kitchen next time.
Definitely.
From inspiration to installation, visit LL Flooring.
Our goal is to find that $1 million boulder.
I will dig till my hands bleed.
That's so sketchy, dude.
Anything can shut you down.
It's almost like we know what we're doing.
A flash flood watch is in effect. Currently in our area, 84 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Tonight, partly cloudy. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. Low 75. Thursday, thunderstorms developing in the afternoon. High 85. Chance of rain 60%. Thursday night, showers and thunder showers likely. Low 73. Rainfall may reach 1 inch. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Severe weather threat continues along the Carolina coastline, specifically the South Carolina coast. Tornado watch through the rest of the overnight hours goes until 5 a.m. And within that zone, a tornado warning right now, kind of in between Beaufort and Edisto Beach. We've got a tornado warning. It's Beaufort County as well as Colleton County. Radar indicated spin in a couple of different spots. So again, this warning continues for the next 10 minutes at least, and a couple of different areas that we've been following. Now, many of those are kind of broadening out and opening up right now, but there's a little couplet area here and here where you see the green to blue changing back over to dark green, almost red. You see that there, you see that there. So there's two of them right next to each other. I also, before we go any further, want to kind of zoom out on this view and show you what could still be coming, because that kind of sheer line or area where the spin looks a little bit more put together, well, that continues down the row, right down here and right down here. Both of those have several areas where there could be water spouts right now, or at least some circulation, that as it approaches land and that frictional change continues to bend the lowest level winds, while the upper level winds don't feel that as fast, and sometimes that's just enough to change the shear ingredients and allow for these storms to start to rotate just a little bit stronger and kick in a tornado threat. So it would not surprise me at all if over the next, say, hour or two, if we continue to follow this line moving north, well, look who's up the coast. Charleston. If you are anywhere near the Charleston, Folly Beach area, you're watching us right now, please monitor those lines of storms coming your way in case we get any more warnings. But zooming back in to this area, we're going to have to update the timing on this a little bit because the storm that was here to the south has really fizzled out. So I don't think that particular one is going to be a threat, but we do have that couplet up here. And so if you're near Ashpoo, if you're near Burnt Church Crossroads or Davis Hill, that kind of next little area of spin is headed your way. Good news that the one that was off the coast seemed to have opened up and fizzled out a little bit because that one was rather well put together. So it's good news that it has opened up a bit and maybe that threat has lessened a bit. But we still have that chance for a spin-up tornado in this area. And again, that threat is not done. Here's another one of those zones, maybe Ritter, Walterboro, and Stokes. That's that top end of the of that shear zone. And you could make the argument that there's another one even up towards that top end of our warning. I think this warning will be fine-tuned by 1 o'clock. Maybe dropped, but maybe, looking at that next little complex coming in from the coast and shifting a little bit. The coastal area is really favorable to see that spin because we've got that low level wind bending back towards our area of low pressure over here, but the upper level pattern is crossing over at a very different wind direction. More than a 90-degree turn with height will definitely allow that chance for tornadoes. We were, warning of this all day. The Storm Prediction Center was saying, yeah, this is the zone tonight that we need to monitor for. And I don't think we're going to see widespread tornadoes within here, but a couple are certainly possible. It's why we have a Torcon of 3 out of 10 through the night. It is reasonably rare in this part of the world to see tornado threats overnight, but that's what we have. Remember, that tornado watch continues all the way until 5 a.m. And then, Carl, there's a chance that some of those same ingredients will follow the storm up the coastline. And so we're going to see that chance for active weather tomorrow, mid-Atlantic into the northeast.
Yeah, that's right. We are going to be looking at a tornado threat extending farther north. And as a matter of fact, we can show you where that tornado threat will be into tomorrow afternoon. It's going to be in the eastern part of North and South Carolina. We've got a Torcon of 2 for those those areas, also up into Tidewater, Virginia. So a lot of the very same conditions that are in place tonight will be in place again tomorrow. And then there's broadly going to be a threat for tropical storm force winds in the Carolinas and then out into the Jersey Shore there and up along the northeast coast as the storm moves northward. So here's how that is likely to time out. The mid-Atlantic region seeing a real big increase in wind by the time we get into tomorrow evening. So 40 to 50 mile per hour wind there in Norfolk, Virginia, 30 to 35 miles per hour in Ocean City. It's going to be gusty in D.C., but it's going to be more towards the coast where we find the more substantial wind. Then that coming up into the Jersey Shore and into Long Island early on Friday. Here's a closer look at what's going to be happening up in Long Island and New Jersey. And you see that wind really starting to come in there to Long Island on Thursday afternoon, and then another round here on the way, kind of just brushing by the side and then clipping southeastern New England. And so that's Friday morning where we expect to see some stronger winds, and going into the middle of the day on Friday, 40 to 50 mile per hour winds there in southeastern New England in particular. Also a heavy rain threat, flash flood watches from Raleigh up into the Delmarva and on into New York City. Here's a model forecast showing you this big mass of rain coming across southern Maryland and New Jersey and up into New York City early on Friday. So Friday morning could be a very difficult commute in New York City. We only need about an inch or two in many parts of the tri-state area to get flash flooding within an hour, and we certainly could see that come Friday morning. We'll have more coming up just a couple of minutes.
DiGiorno has 7 delicious crusts, and your family food critics will rave. Croissant crust is flaky layers of buttery bliss. Rising crust is fresh baked deliciousness. There's a 5-star pizza for everyone in your family to love. It's not delivery, it's DiGiorno.
We were gonna stuff Reese's cups with feathers, and then we were like, wait a minute, pretzels. Yeah, pretzels would be way better. Reese's, now stuffed with pretzels.
I'm David Collado, president and co-owner of Happy Howie's Dog Treats. We make all-natural dog treats, and we're growing really fast. So fast, we were maxing out production. That's why I chose the Spark Cash Card from Capital One, because I earn unlimited 2% cash back on everything I buy. Last year, I redeemed $21,000 in cash back. Seriously, $21,000, which I used for new equipment so we can feed even more dogs. Thanks to my Spark Card, we're in over 4,000 stores across the country. What's in your wallet?
Come in for sweats? Leave as a squad. What we value most shouldn't cost more.
There's an America we build and one we discover. One that's been tamed and one that's forever wild. But freedom means you don't have to choose just one adventure. You get both. Introducing the wildly civilized, all-new 3-row Jeep Grand Cherokee L.
Just one drop.
Gorilla Super Glue Micro Precise.
Of course.
Precise application, controlled dispensing with Gorilla Strength for the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
Are you using Liberty Mutual's coverage customizer tool? So you only pay for what you need. Sorry? Liam, you're an animal!
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
No matter where we live, we all have our local spot with our favorite table. Go back to your local restaurant and Stella Artois will help cover your first chalice. Visit stellaartois.com/firstchaliceback to learn more.
Return to rugged. The all-new ruggedly redesigned 2022 Nissan Pathfinder.
Mother Nature gives you a warning sign, get ready for something big.
Welcome back. We've been tracking Tropical Storm Elsa for what feels like forever at this point. Here's the latest update from the National Hurricane Center. As of the 11 o'clock advisory, our center at that point was due west from Savannah and from Brunswick, Georgia. Don't be surprised, though, that all the action has been on that east side near the coast. It's been an east-loaded system all along the way and continues to be so tonight as it moves north-northeast, now close to 16 miles per hour. So many of you along the South Carolina coastline for the next several hours will see the worst of the weather shifting to North Carolina by morning. So I want to give you an update on where we're following some of the impacts from this storm, because here's a look at the cone. By morning, we'll have our storm moving through central South Carolina. By evening, approaching southern Virginia, and then into Friday morning, coming towards New York City. And again, along that path, and points just east from it, that's where we're going to have the worst of the rainfall. Wind will be a factor. Here's what's going on right now. Look at Savannah. Savannah, you're behind the rain, but you're now gusting close to 40. The grounds are saturated. There certainly could be more tree and power line issues throughout the night. And as we look at this forecast of wind gusts, that little core of strong winds follows right behind that circulation as we go through the next several hours. We then can transition for the rest of the overnight into tomorrow morning, moving through the rest of South Carolina, Myrtle Beach, Wilmington. You get your gusty winds midday, Cape Hatteras towards the evening, and then the low continues to move north from there. For now, we're also looking at a tornado threat. Tornado watch continues until 5 a.m. We have a new tornado warning just east of the one we've been following. So Beaufort and Carlton, tornado warning until 1. That's being dropped. Radar indicated spin for Charleston County, not into the city of Charleston yet, but it would not surprise me at all if we get there. And here's why. Look at this couplet right here. That is one of the stronger couplets that we've seen. It's very small. Let me get a little bit closer in for you. East of Edisto Beach, this is the most pressing couplet, still off the coast at this point, but racing inland. So that's one that we'll be watching. And that whole line down the row has rotation within it. That's going to be bending its way towards Charleston and Folly Beach as we go through the next several hours. So stay tuned. If there are any pressing storms coming your way, locally, we will have updates for you on those storms.
The next thing